on the boogie. Sunshine, moonlight, yeah, good times, boogie. You just got the sunshine, yeah, moonlight, good times, boogie.
Welcome to the Blame It on the Boogie podcast. This is episode number 17. We just four average guys, better than average. Just coming to you every week to talk to you about little things called sports. Today I have with me, as always, the almighty Dorian Anthony, the Wonder Mouse Brown from Richmond, California. We got
I'm gonna get a water hose and beat you.
From Phoenix, Arizona. We got Antoine DOOZE Williams from Florissant, Missouri, and of course me, Rod D, right here from the Detroit, Michigan. What it ain't where we at? It's all about where we from. And where we from, D?
East Boogie.
From the boogie. From the boogie.
Straight out the boogie.
From the east side. We gonna jump right into this week, talk about this stuff. But as usual, we're gonna bring up the Wonder Mouse to tell us about what we talked about last week. Go ahead, D.
All right, so we talked about in the NCAA. We talked about the Women's College World Series. At the time, the Oklahoma winning streak was at 48 games. We'll speak about that a little bit later. We talked about the Northwestern women winning the lacrosse national championship over Boston College. We talked about the Little League World Series, wondering why it is that the 11 and 12-year-olds are the only group televised. We noticed that the number of coaching vacancies in the NBA continues to shrink. I think there's still, one left or whatever. We'll talk about that. In NCAA men's lacrosse, Notre Dame beats Duke to win its first lacrosse championship. In the NHL, Vegas blew out the Stars to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Panthers are the 8th seed. We'll talk a little bit about that as well, because Vegas is continuing blowing people out. Wondered if the luck of the leprechaun had run out with Boston. We talked about their $6 million salary issue that'll be coming up.
600 million.
I thought that's what I said, didn't I?
Said 6, but go ahead, keep going.
Okay. You ain't talking, Mr. I can't spell. There's
you make one little mistake and y'all just be on it.
Again in the NBA, the referee who had the burner social media account, we thought that was interesting. Talked about the implications of that, especially as far as gambling is concerned. In the NFL, where will D hop to next? So DeAndre Hopkins, haven't heard any new news about that lately. We'll see. Goodell gets rehired. We talked about some of the rule changes as far as the kickoffs are concerned, and then we went back to Brian Davis and him suing Bank of America for $500 billion because of the botched sale of the Washington Commanders.
Allegedly.
And that was it. So speaking of Brian Davis,
what
happened with that? Because Rod had a little bit more information on that. But
Hey, remember that sound effect, Rod?
Dante has some.
Dude's got
we got a new sound effect.
That's kind of what happened with.
That's for Brian Davis, D.
That's what kind of happened with Brian Davis, D.
Oh, the same thing.
That's what kind of happened to Brian Davis.
Mario Brothers dying.
So, all right. So we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. And it actually intrigued us because we were looking for more any minority ownership in the NFL. So we were behind this. We were geeked about it when we saw it. Thought it was a great deal that a brother could put in an offer allegedly to purchase the Washington Commanders. But Brian Davis said that he deposited his money with the Bank of America, and Bank of America didn't present the bank draft in time for him to be considered for this ownership position. So because of that, he filed a $500 billion lawsuit, billion with a B, lawsuit against the Bank of America for lost wages that he would have garnered had he become owner of the Washington Commanders. But Dante, what happened? What happened on the way to the bank?
What had happened was
that sound
In a
effect.
nutshell, man. In a nutshell, as we said in our last couple episodes when we talked about this, I think the question was conspiracy or collusion. Either way it went, he went ahead and I guess he figured, I'm going to leave this alone. And if you see there with the lawsuit, and he actually filed it with a non-prejudice clause, so meaning basically he can go back and refile this if he wants to. But for right now, he's just going to sit back and chill, which may be a smart thing to do, because even though this it does have something to do with the football team, this lawsuit was against the bank. And we all know how big money is all tied together with these big NFL owners and stuff. So that's, if you want to own an NFL team, that's probably the last people you want to piss off is the NFL owners with a big lawsuit over one of the largest banks in the world. So I think that's where that went. Hopefully, as we talked about last week, gentlemen, Brian Davis will hook up with our guy. I can't remember his name now. That tried to buy the Denver Broncos.
Byron
we had
Allen.
Byron Allen. He gets with Byron Allen, who went to NFL University, so he knows all the ins and outs about owning an NFL team. So hopefully these two can join forces so we can get a majority owner in the NFL finally, right? So that's what's going on with Brian Davis. I think this story will still be to continue, but unless there's another NFL team up for sale, Rodney's probably going to be another 4 years before we even have this topic come up again, especially in NFL. I think Snoop Dogg will get the hockey team before we'll get a black owner in NFL, brother.
Well, so I thought you was going to talk about the other little issue that came out with Brian Davis, man, that I just can't let you just gloss over that.
I look at it as smear, Rodney. I didn't really want to go into it because he went through that when he was trying to buy the team. Without this, I look at it as all smear tactics.
It's okay.
When he came out with the money, he had the money to buy it. Everybody questioned the money, and now you seeing this again after the $500 billion lawsuit, and here come all the smear tactics. Mess up his credibility. So you see how the timing goes.
I would agree with you on most things. However,
I'm gonna let you talk about it.
However, this is a little bit too crazy. So Byron Davis, allegedly deposited this.
Brian Davis.
You got me saying Byron Davis, Brian Allen, all them folks. Brian Davis. Brian Davis allegedly deposited $5.1 billion with Bank of America. Right? He gave him a bank draft. And then when they didn't present the draft to the Commanders, to Snyder, he sued them for $500 billion. But then after making a lawsuit, he dropped the $500 billion lawsuit down to $900,000. So if you were so taken for granted or cheated,
taking advantage of
$500 billion to $900,000. All right. And then the reason he dropped the case was because the quote unquote bank draft that he gave them never cleared. That was the issue. That was why. That's why, dudes. What's your thing?
Was it a post dated check?
He gave them, and the reason he was suing them was because he wanted today. The reason he sued them was because he wanted this money back. But it said, "Bruh, this thing never cleared." And then it's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna drop the case then." So, as dude said, I like that now. I'm a fan of the Mario Brother Death soundbite. But with anything, we gonna wait for Brian Davis's next move, because I'm gonna say it's funny. When I read it, it was funny, but I'm gonna say it was nothing nefarious going on. That there was a mix up, in the communication or what have you.
Yeah,
and that
it's a glitch in the matrix.
It's a glitch, and Brian Davis will be back. Back and better than ever. Like I said, him and Byron Allen
from the Dookies.
From the Dookies. Oh, but real quick, the thing that made it real
BA and BB.
The thing that made this whole thing real interesting is that Christian Laettner, another Dookie, was supposed to be his partner and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But Laettner didn't want no parts of this this lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
He was a silent partner on this.
Laettner's like, on this one, you're your own, my brother.
Extremely silent.
It's very interesting.
I bank with Bank of America. Christian Laettner said, "I bank with Bank of America."
Right. I got a credit card. I got a high limit. So what's real interesting about this, though, when you think about this, and again, this is I always find interesting. I think Dante mentioned this before, and this just goes back to this when he talked about maybe hopefully Byron Allen and Brian Davis can get together.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder why it is that when we've had Black people who've had they didn't even necessarily have to be billionaires, right? But why is it that none of them have ever tried to put together a package to try to buy an NFL team I just found it interesting. If it has, I wonder why we've never heard about it. But it's just a lot of people who have this kind of money. When you think about it, again, I'm not trying to begrudge anybody for what they want to do with their money, right? But if Dr. Dre can get $1 billion and can give I don't know how many million to USC and if so on and so forth, you would think somebody long before Snoop, that kind of thing would have kind of taken that kind of initiative. I just wonder why we've never heard about it. Yeah, we have Bob Johnson who bought Charlotte and even the Bobcats or whatever, that kind of thing first, right? And then they ended up going to Jordan, so on and so forth. But you would think that for a while that some of these ultra rich Black people in the United States, even if they weren't rich enough to buy one on their own, like even though Oprah didn't go out and try to buy a team, why they never put their money together, particularly again some years ago when it had been much cheaper. I wonder what the politics of that was. I'd really like to know more about that. Who tried to buy a team as far as some type of combination of Black people who tried to be majority owners. I'd really like to know more history about that.
So that's one of the things we're going to have to just sit down one day and research it and just do a quick little podcast and put it out there to let people know, hey, this is what happened.
We might have to pull together our funds and buy a team.
And do an expose.
We can buy
a Little League team.
You mean one of them electric football teams?
Hey, so you
what
guys,
was the team
remember
name? The Black Stros? We can buy the Black Stros. That's about it.
The Centerville Colts.
we could buy the Fist to Save Pittsburgh.
There you go.
Remember the Centerville Colts?
The Centerville Colts.
All right.
All right.
So,
let's move on.
Before we move on,
do we have to talk about North Carolina folks again?
Yeah.
hey, from Dookie's Billion. Yeah.
I know that's what I said. Do we have to talk more about these North Carolina people?
Well, this is a little quick blurb. And we were talking about this before you got online. So today, so last week Caleb Love, who was originally transferring to the University of Michigan, now he's officially transferring to the University of Arizona. A former North Carolina Tar Heel, but leading the scorer, if I remember correctly. Is that right? I think he was their leading scorer last year.
Yeah, they're like 18 something game.
Yeah. Either he was or he was one of the leading scorers. But so real quick, Caleb has found a landing spot out there with Dante in the land of the rising sun. But what's more
intriguing.
There you go, dudes. Is the fact that
you in the vocabulary
with Love's transfer, That's like 5 players that have left University of North Carolina since the end of the last season, which is what, March. So that's 5 players that left.
Yep.
But on top of those 5 players today, another one of their recruits has decided that he wants to. He's petitioning the fourth recruit. He's petitioning North Carolina for his release from his letter of intent. So now North Carolina is only going to have 2 new scholarship players coming in after losing 5 scholarship players already. So Dante, real quick, hey, what's going on with Carolina, man?
Yeah, real quick.
Yep. Yeah, and then we got to get Carolina the sound effect.
The Dukies, right?
Dante don't want to talk about his team.
Y'all done? I'm trying to keep it quick. So anyway,
no.
I'm waiting for y'all. Everybody had something to say before I was going to say something.
We didn't say the ridicule had to be short. We was just talking about.
Moving on. So anyway, going back to whatever your question was, right? What's going on in North Carolina? 2 words. Hubert Davis. We talk. Are you not listening? Hubert Davis is the problem. We talked about this ad nauseum throughout the season when they started losing all these recruits and everybody to the transfer portal. Like I said, when they didn't make the tournament, I always said something was going on with Hubert Davis and his coaching style. So it ain't going to just be these players North Carolina's losing. Look for North Carolina to be losing Hubert Davis probably after next year. Because with the 2 left remaining recruits that they have, they're going to be looking around like, who are we going to play with? Look for them to dip out of town too. So that's going to leave all the boosters and everybody in North Carolina looking at Hubert Davis like, I don't know. Kind of like dudes looks at Missoula at Boston. That's how they're looking at Hubert Davis right now. So that's what's going on in North Carolina.
Well, I wonder what it is about his. I wonder what it is about his coaching style. I mean, because
Dean Smith.
I wonder.
That's what's wrong with his coaching style. He has too much Dean still stuck in him.
I was just about to say. I wonder if the players, he's not adapting to these new players that he wants to keep doing. Because again, that's a proven method. And he wants to, kind of continue that legacy of Dean Smith and so on and so forth. And I've heard, even though I've heard really, really good stories about Dean Smith is still of that. Yeah, he might not have cussed, but he's still of that old school. You do what I say, the way I do it, the way I say do it, when I say do it. He was, one of those kinds of coaches or whatever. So again, these new athletes that are coming in, these new youngsters that are coming in who've been playing AAU ball, they don't want that. They want to come in. Right.
They don't want that system. Yeah, they don't want that system.
They want to come in and average 25, 28 points a game. And that's never been what Dean Smith was about. Think about it. None of us thought Jordan was going to be Jordan was because he never did that kind of stuff at Carolina. It wasn't that we didn't think Jordan was going to be good. We just didn't think he was going to be what Larry Bird say, God in basketball shoes, right? Because he wasn't able to do that kind of stuff at Carolina. You saw little glimpses of it, but that was about it. So, yeah. So I wanted to
sum up what you're talking about. It goes back to the fact that Hubert Davis, just like Dean Smith in that old conservative back style, he doesn't use his bench. He doesn't use underclassmen. They don't play freshmen. And that's why you saw with North Carolina, they basically had 3 or 4 guys basically averaging the same amount of points because Hubert Davis is trying to coach like Dean Smith and he's in that old school instead of using his entire bench of these athletes, these 4- and 5-star kids coming in, freshmen or not. They can ball out, like Dorian said. These kids are coming from AAU. They done from the free throw line, and this guy wants them to basically play 4 corners. That's what's going on with North Carolina, guys. So for us not to want to talk about North Carolina, we spent too much time in Carolina. Rodney, let's get to some real stuff.
Wait a minute. Let me add this right quick. Another issue that he's having, a lot of coaches are having, is that now whereas the coaches used to be the highest paid people in the program.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Now with the NIL, these players don't have to take all of this mess that they're doing because a lot of them are making more or as much as the coaches. So, and that's one of the you can't go with that in your face. I'm gonna yell at you all the time and curse you out.
This team is making as much money as coaches.
Say it again.
I got to find them kids making more than they coach.
Hey. Now Dante want to talk about this.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, just okay. No. Okay, I know y'all don't want to dwell on it too longer, but it was gonna bleed into something else.
Go ahead.
But if you think about it, though, because of the NBA, college is different. So it might be some of them players who are making just as much. It's really only the top tier coaches that are making millions of dollars. They aren't all Nick Sabans. They aren't all so on and so forth. So it may be some of these kids who are coming in with this NIL money who may be able to really compete with their coaches' salaries. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But it's just the new age
Booster
of
money.
college sports.
Booster money.
Oh, that's what it used to be called, booster money. Now we call it NIL. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's everything.
Now Dante want to talk about my boys.
But anyway, we decided for 2 weeks. We decided for 2 weeks we weren't going to talk about them because of the dry spell they was in. But because of this past weekend, y'all saw it with the Pirates. Yeah, we got to talk about them, Rodney.
Yeah.
Remember, it was optimism.
Yeah,
you was optimistic. I told you what it was.
I was happy.
They are still.
I gave them the benefit of the doubt
as usual.
So my Cardinals, man, brothers,
I sent y'all a text on the Friday game. I sent y'all a text on Friday. You watching that game? A 5-0 lead. The bullpen sucks. Y'all saw my message. That was just Friday, dog. And it continued Saturday, same thing. And Sunday, got swept. And then Monday. That's it. Friday through Sunday. And then just yesterday, the guy Adam Wainwright, they threw him out there. He's supposed to be able to stop the hot and fired up Texas Rangers, probably the best team in baseball. Right? Rodney, my stat. Wainwright, it went 5 1/3, gave up 8 hits, 3 runs.
Oh no!
Walked 2, only K 3 people. He only struck out 3 batters in 5 innings. And of course, his ERA jumped back up to 5.97. 0.97 ERA. And he has a 2-1 record. And then what happened yesterday? He was losing. The Cardinals fought back. Like dude said, the bats finally woke up. They tied the game up only to bring Genesis Cabrera in. And by the way, who names their son Genesis? But anyway, a walk, hit, game over.
Go ahead, D. Don't say nothing about the Reds. Don't say nothing about the Reds.
I won't let you show that sucking ass picture no more.
Don't say nothing about the Reds.
Reds in third. Reds in third.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention the Reds. Not to mention the Reds.
We don't want to hear nothing about the Reds, man.
So we are in last place, Rodney.
And that's all I have to say.
And it ain't looking good.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And it ain't looking good.
Rodney seems to believe just because we only 4 games out, they're in last place, Rodney. But the good news, they did call back up our guy, Walker. They did call back our brother, Mr. Walker, for at least 10 days. So that was only the bright spot of this entire weekend for me. I don't know if they're losing right now. Anybody got an update? They were winning, but if it's past, then we losing.
Bro, it don't matter. What my man say? They'll blow it in the end.
Blow in the playoffs.
They'll blow it in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. They lose. I'm sorry, they lost. No, we're still going on. It's 6-4.
Loss.
The Rangers are up 6-4.
Can I get up?
I'm trying to see what inning this is.
We blew the lead again.
The sixth inning, the bottom of six now.
Oh, the bottom of the sixth. All right.
Rangers
So Dante,
I told you.
Yeah, the pitching staff is sucking. But here's the question for you, Dante. Are there any all-star candidates?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any?
Oh, put that up there, Rodney.
Can we get one?
Put that up there, Rodney. So the reason why we had to throw this up here is because I was watching the game on Friday, and I was watching from the home team perspective. And they were talking about, being the homers, the Cardinals, vote for the Cardinals, also your all-star candidates from the Cardinals. By the way, guys, I do vote. This is my actual official ballot for the all-star voting. So to show you I'm not biased at all. And this had nothing to do with, actually, they did this before we actually started playing Texas. But you see, I got a lot of Texas is the real deal. Texas out there smacking folks. But the Cardinals. So the Cardinals all-star candidates are Paul Goldschmidt at first, obviously, Nolan Arenado, Nolan Gorman. But the one, Rodney, that made me bring this up, the Cardinals are pushing Adam Wainwright as an all-star pitching candidate.
Okay,
Can
so
I
we're
get that
done
new
talking about the
soundtrack.
Cardinals.
Adam Wainwright as a Cardinal all-star.
So we're gonna on that note,
that's part of his farewell tour.
So we're gonna get that topic incomplete.
That's all we could be. It's part of the farewell tour, D. They're just trying to get him some more rocking chairs. But it ain't gonna be in the All-Star game. I'm sorry. You can't get in the All-Star game with a 5.79 ERA. I'm sorry. Let's move on from the Cardinals because they
hold on, guys. And Rodney, this is just to me. One more thing, Rodney. This is just further evidence to me, because I know I love to say his name, of Mosliak trying to justify all that money they pay Wainwright on his way out, trying to make him all-star. He has not worked that money with a 5.97 ERA. They can't trade him. They can't move him. So I hope this is his last hurrah. I hope this is his last all-star, because he's not an all-star.
Yeah, not this year. He no. No. Mosliak also you got me saying Mosliak. But he has to take the blame for Wilson Contreras also, man. Wilson Contreras is batting .211, and that was our big free agent acquisition
Above the Mendoza line.
So yeah, Mosliak, until he do better, we're gonna keep calling him Mosliak.
All right, he gonna show up like Jim Everett did to Jim Rome. And I'm gonna say, I tried to tell him, sir, your name was Mosaic. I tried to tell him, sir, your name was Mosaic. They wouldn't listen.
He can smack Dante. All right.
Don't call me Mosliak.
Another sport that we don't talk a lot about
that is classic
is tennis. And
we need to start talking about tennis more. It's time to, though.
It's
summertime.
It is summertime. Right now, we got the French going on. There was something interesting that happened in the women's doubles competition. Dante, what you got for me?
Oh, what happened?
We waiting on Dante to get his visuals ready. You know, we can't have no dead air. We need some talking.
Yeah, that's right. There we go.
I didn't realize I had myself muted, gentlemen.
Yeah, that was
anyway, over the weekend, the Women's French Open, we did have some drama. We had some controversy. Things moving a little slow over here.
Well, keep it moving. I can't have no dead air, man. We recording. You got people listening. Our dozens of fans are listening.
Oh, yeah.
Was all about, okay? Tears of controversy. Tears of controversy. What you see there is the young ball girl that we had all this controversy over. You see, she's kind of, really emotionally distraught. She's in tears. The chair umpire had to go over to console her. But this is what it all came about, guys. Here are the antagonists that got all this controversy going to where the entire tennis world, guys, any publication, news outlet involved in tennis around the world are hating on these two young ladies right here. Why? Because I even came across a headline. Definition of bush leaguers, no pun intended. But here's the true definition of bush leaguers. Brock, can you blow that up for us so everybody can see this? So what happened, to give y'all a little information? What you see there are two vicious young ladies, little Maria and little Sarah. During a tennis match, their opponents unintentionally hit the little ball girl. The two girls on the left there, as you see, were oblivious to what happens. But moments later, after the judges came back and they realized that their opponents were disqualified, they were caught laughing. These are the two opponents, Mayu Kato and Adelia Saduji from Indonesia. Maya's from Japan. You can see they were like shocked, what's going on? Didn't know what happened. This is Kato after finding out that they got disqualified. She was in tears, and she was part of the reason that they got the reason why they did this get disqualified. Excuse me. But you see right there, guys, to the right, the theory behind the dry snitching as it became to be known. Their opponents were scared. Yeah, they thought they won the first match, but the two opponents right here, Kato and Sajudi, came back, took the lead in the second set. So, now it's getting interesting. So right before we show that, let's give everybody a little background on what. No, let's give the quotes right there. Can you remove that banner for me, Rod, so everybody can see what she actually said?
I sure will. Give me 1 second there, bro. I'm gonna move that banner for you. There you go.
So this is Miss Choba. So after the game, this is a post-game interview, and these were the statements she actually said. Y'all can see that. I'm just gonna paraphrase. It's just a bad situation for everyone. Wait a minute. Who is everyone? It was just bad for the two girls that got disqualified. But it's kind of something that I guess is taken by the rules as it is, even though it's very fortunate for them. At the end of the day, it was the referee's decision. She goes on to say, I did not see the ball. I did not see the ball hit the girl, but she was crying for like 15 minutes. So then what did she go do? What did they do? She said, one of the officials said the ball has to do some kind of harm to the person affected. And that at first, Jude, which is the chair official, he didn't see that. So me and Cerise Tomro, we went and told the chairperson, you need to go look into it more and ask our opponents what they think happened. So after this, what she said, the interviewer actually told Buzkova what happened on Saturday. So during Saturday's match, Coco Gauff, who we will talk about on other shows, had actually beat Mira Andreeva. Andreeva smacked the ball into the stands, but she was only given a warning by the chair umpire and unsportsmanlike, and nothing else happened. Here's Bukova's reply. Oh, I heard about that. Didn't see it, but I guess it just depends on the circumstances and the given situation as it happens. Total hypocrite. Y'all see our first statement in the first paragraph. It's taken by the rules as it is. But if it happens to somebody else, I guess you just got to look at the certain situations that go on. Here's her partner. This is Miss Sarah Tormore, the little Frenchie. The Spanish, excuse me. This was her quote, what she said. The other thing we did yesterday was going to the referee, explain him what happened. That's her quote, not me. And you see him right there, pointing over at, hey, go do something about it. Dry snitching. Remember, the chairman just gave a warning. So here's a diagram, guys, of what happened. And then Rodney's loading up a quick video to actually show you how innocuous this was. So as you see there, Kato at the top and Sujati. Kato hits a soft backhand. The ball comes over net. You see the ball girl in the left-hand corner. Smacks her in the head. Now you look down there to the right. Buzkova and Turmo, they ain't even looking. But remember, they went snitched and everything. Oh, she was crying for 15 minutes. You got to do something. But anyway, when it was all said and done, Kato lost money. Her and her partner lost money. Here's the video, guys.
Go ahead, finish that.
But because of that disqualification, Mayu Kato and obviously her partner both lost money for this competition. They were in the quarterfinals because of this forfeit. That's prize money and points they need in the world ranking. And they got Bush League. Go ahead with the video, Rod. So folks that are watching can actually see how innocuous this actually was.
Notice the ball girl. Notice both Sarah and Marie have their backs to the incident.
There's the ball. Bam!
Yet,
Bam!
didn't stop the tandem from pleading to the referee to have their opponents disqualified.
So that was just a quick replay of what happened. The little backhand went over. The ball girl was ready. She was looking. She saw the ball coming. And it hit her in the head, and she went into tears. So, gentlemen, here's the thing. What brings us up, because this is it's a world topic now, is that rule in tennis, whether it's intentional or not, it's just dependent on the referee or how they want to officiate it. So if you're going to be strict about this rule, you got to be consistent about it. The same thing happened to Novak Djokovic, like last year, 2 years ago, when he got pissed off and he smacked the ball and hit a little boy. It's a default. You get disqualified. Marissa hit a ball in the stands. Unsportsmanlike, just a warning. But in this situation, because they went dry snitch, it went and brought out the chairperson and the head referee, and they had to make these girls, it cost them to lose the game. So that's why this was very interesting to me to bring this up, Rodney, that cheating goes on everywhere, whatever you got to do to win. But on a good note, Buskova and Tormo beat down the straight sets in the next round.
Vindication. But
Cormier is a bitch.
To me,
vindicate.
We were talking about it earlier. Like I said, that in the video, it shows that they were not even looking. They didn't even see the girl get hit. They just noticed that the girl was over there crying. But the reason that she was crying wasn't because that she was hurt or anything like that. It's because the spotlight was on her. She's not used to having that spotlight on her. You had everybody coming over there trying to make sure, trying to find out if she was okay. Both, yeah, this, that, and the other. So yeah, she was a little on the bare side. So she couldn't help but cry. So they took that as an opportunity to go say, "Oh, she over there crying. Let's go tell the referee that they hit the girl and they should be disqualified." Again, they didn't even see nothing. They didn't see nothing. So, like I said, it was a Bush League move. They did not deserve to be disqualified. However, because the rule is in the book, they forced the linesman, the judge, to enforce that rule, and now they're the ones that got to suffer all the backlash from that. Doran,
I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
Oh, you get that look on your face.
I don't have anything to add to that. I mean, hey, they wanted to win. They saw an opportunity and they took it.
And they took it. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Right. But they didn't cheat. They went by the rules.
Hey, in the words of the old Oakland Raiders, just win, baby.
Win, baby.
Just win. Right, exactly. Just win, baby. Hey. Sometimes you got to snitch. We do it in basketball. It's out on him.
But you know what, guys?
It's out on him. So hey, same thing. We take it. They flopped just in a whole different way.
There you go. They took lessons from LeBron.
I think the ball girl flopped.
Right. They was all in cahoots.
How much the ball girl get paid?
That's why.
I'm gonna hold that back till we get to the family.
So I guess now what they need to do in tennis is have. So what they're going to have to do is start having ball girls in tennis wear helmets like in baseball.
All right, D, stop it. You better stop it, D. I'm gonna need you to stop it, boy.
Hey, but here's a sport we ain't got to worry about nobody cheating in, man.
And that sport is. That sport is a wonderful thing that's sweeping the nation. It's called
Oh, yeah.
pickleball. We got the sport that's sweeping the nation. Talk to us about this pickleball, Dante. Stop it! Stop it! We filming. We are filming.
We gonna have to go to Brown. We gonna need a break on our own show.
I need you to quit.
All right, we better. We good. We gonna put it together.
Put it together.
Let me go back to the intro. Let's start this junk over again. These causing problems.
All right, fellas.
We got the Major League of Pickleball. Let's talk about Major League of Pickleball.
Well, game should nobody be cheating in. A game that we ain't got to worry about nobody cheating in. It's a new sensation across the nation. What ain't really new? Pickleball. Now, fellas, this all came about, during COVID. Everybody was all inside and confined and everything. But turns out pickleball is actually fun. I don't know about y'all, but I played racquetball growing up. I played tennis, badminton. So pickleball is just a natural progression. Oh, let me go back. I want to show y'all something because this is what y'all can look forward to. You see out in the background there. Yeah, that's right here, fellas. That's out here in Arizona. That's here in Phoenix. That's actually out in Scottsdale. These pickleball facilities are popping up everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. You can play indoors. You can play outdoors. And that's one of the reasons why. It's fun for practically all ages. As long as the kids can move and swing, they can play. It requires minimum space. The rules are very simple. Inexpensive sport. The paddles will probably cost you $5 a piece, if that. And it's a great physical fitness workout. Fellas, we all getting old, but this is actually a game, especially when y'all come out here, that we gonna go out. I'm gonna take y'all out to play because y'all will enjoy it. But even more so, one of the things I like about it is the investment in it. These are some of the Hall of Fame athletes that are actually pickleball enthusiasts and investors. Larry Fitzgerald being one of the most recent. He just bought into the Major League Pickleball League, if you will. There are a couple leagues, major ones. I think there's like 2, ALP and the MLP. You see Tom Brady right there with his MLP jersey on, and LeBron recently bought into it. So again, we talk about black ownership in sports. Hey, there we go. We might have 2 majority owners there, but no, gentlemen, this is a great sport that you guys should really look into. And as far as an investment, Rodney, I know you like real estate. All you need is a nice empty warehouse facility, building space, buy some property. You can build these pickleball courts virtually anywhere and rent them out. There are waiting lists to get on pickleball courts out here, especially indoors now that we're in the summer season. So if you can imagine, Rodney, this is a very lucrative investment. So all we like, E16, y'all watch me. Anybody can play this back at home. Turn them empty buildings into pickleball arenas and courts. So that's
we go to Jimmy Connor's old house.
Great sport that's coming out. Like I said,
next to Vicky. And it's Persian.
These all the things we all play. We all grew up.
You know it's Persian, D. Ain't no, we ain't got no 76th Street in E16
sweeping the nation, fellas. And I think besides golf, this is something we all
do.
I've heard about pickleball. I watched the I think it was a 30 for 30 or something. That was on ESPN, and how people were taking like these pilgrimages back to the first pickleball court. Like it started to become like a tourist attraction. And it was starting to bother the neighbors.
They got a pilgrimage.
Right, for all these people coming just to play on the very first pickleball court. Again, I've heard about
speaking
it.
Of, when I mentioned all ages, I think our niece would love this sport, Dap. I think she's at that age where you can easily teach her how to play. This would be a fun, great game. You and our niece and your wife in the business to play.
Paddles.
Well, you have to get a paddles a taste test before you begin.
Right. As soon as she stops trying to eat the paddles, then I think she can play. Right now, we might have to wait.
Is this chocolate?
Right.
I can see you and the fam, no Dab. I can see you and the fam out there pickleball. This would be definitely the sport. I can see you and our little niece growing up and the wifey playing. Definitely look into it.
Maybe me and Sadia, Tara ain't coming out and playing no pickleball. but although again, I've heard about it. It did.
Hey man, it's Senior Citizens playing.
But I will say that I'm the fact that you compared it to racquetball really kind of dampened my enthusiasm. I ain't ever played racquetball ever again in life.
Well, when you say senior citizens, that qualifies Rodney right there. So.
When I say racquetball,
shit it up.
If you guys never played racquetball, I didn't know
the idea of
you never played racquetball. But again, it's from badminton, from ping pong. It's all the same concept. It's basically ping pong on the ground with the tennis concept, but using a racket. So it's a very simple game with a plastic ball with holes in it. Everybody would love it, and it's easy to play.
Now I wonder how it would. It did look fun to play, like again, because I enjoy playing badminton and all that kind of stuff. Now, what is interesting to me is the idea of having a major league of this.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, you can play,
because to me it seems like something like, now they got the cornhole championships and the axe throwing kind of thing. It's a real niche kind of thing, and I just wonder how they would coordinate that. I'd like to learn more about that. That'd be interesting, because again, it's something that people of all ages could play. But I don't see some 5-star athlete giving up the NBA to play pickleball.
Hey, but they got the World Series of
no, and that wasn't a thing.
You know what? They got the World Series.
While Rodney's up there thinking, I didn't mention. I didn't say it. You don't see,
and then you stop.
Yeah, but I don't see. I didn't say this about. You don't see athletes. I'm not saying you're going to see athletes leaving their job to come play this. I'm saying this is a sport for anybody. What I showed there were athletes or former athletes and former athletes that actually bought into this. They've bought into the league. This is a business now, and it's going worldwide. So I would recommend. I think I got the link. We'll put it on our page, Rodney. We should go watch the YouTube. It's very intriguing how big this sport has become. That's why even Shaq's also an investor in pickleball. It's a whole lot of people involved in this. So I ain't talking about just coming in, anybody just come play, want to leave their profession, come in. Oh, this is a great sport to come play. But they're all trying to become professionals in this new upcoming league. And here's the other thing. I ain't seen none of these stars we talking about investing no money in no cornhole. I can tell you that. So that's how big this is becoming. Anyway, what we got next, Rod?
Another sport that is absolutely blowing up, has been for a long time. We'll never do it, but it's great to watch. Dante has a video that y'all need to see that is absolutely amazing. Dante, please show me that video.
Send it through, Rod.
You got my dead space, bro. I'm controlling the keys. You ain't got to load it up, my brother.
I got you, brother.
It's on you.
I got you.
The best fight of the night was between Jim Miller and
39-year-old
Geechee Dan breaks down his account of the scrap.
Round 1. Fight.
You should be coming up, brother.
Finish him.
You got knocked the fuck out.
Tune in this Saturday for UFC 289. Nunes versus Aldana.
I know I shouldn't laugh because my man was
right. You forgot the sound effect.
he wasn't even in a good position. Yeah, Dion, got the sound effect, man. Yeah, he was out on that one, man. He was out on that one. Dante, you muted. You muted, Dante. Unmute your mic. Unmute your microphone. He's still muted. There you go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Carvel.
Oh, it's unmuted. No, I was saying I was hoping you would load that from your end. We didn't hear something. I think it was my end.
But it's all good. But yeah, 39-year-old Jim Miller.
That's all you missed.
He put Jim Butler to sleep.
That was the fight.
In 23 seconds.
23 seconds. That was the best fight of the night.
Rockabye, baby.
Rockabye.
Well, best fight of the night, depending on whose perspective.
Well, he probably got some of the best sleep of his life.
Rodney. Hey, Rodney, play that from your end. Play that video again from your end, Rodney.
Play it from my end. You got to show it to me first, bro. Where you put it?
His Tempur-Pedic ain't got nothing on that left hook he caught.
No, okay, here we go. Let's play it one more time, y'all.
The best fight of the night was between Jim Miller and Jesse Butler as Geechee Dan breaks down his account of the scrap.
Round 1. Fight! Finish him!
You got knocked the fuck out!
Tune in this Saturday for UFC 289. Nunes versus Aldana.
Yeah, that was ugly, man. That was ugly.
I think he came in second.
Yeah, he did. He came in second. He came in second in that match. But it just goes to show you, man. UFC ain't no joke, man. UFC ain't no joke.
It's kind of like you, Rod. You know, you can be awake one minute and sleep the
and
next.
then you sleep next. You know?
You got to be a different breed, man, to do that.
His insomnia got cured.
It's a different.
That cured his insomnia better than Ambien ever could.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do an Ambien commercial.
Nope.
All right, so our next topic is
oh, that would be perfect for him. Yeah, Jesse Butler got knocked out.
All right, D. It's on you now. Talk to me about the NHL, man. Tell me about give me an update on the final.
The update is Florida is getting the brakes beat off them by Vegas. They lost 5-2 in the first game and 7-2 in the second game. And the thing is that since it was tied 2-2 after the first two sessions or whatever.
Periods.
First two periods. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll be thinking intermission. But after it was tied 2-2 after the first two periods of the first game, they have literally been outscored 10-2 in the next four periods. So, man, it's like they really getting blown out. So unless something changes, it could be a sweep. They pulled Bobrovsky, who had been hot during the playoffs. He was the hot goalie, kind of the reason that Florida even made it to the Stanley Cup and the Stanley Cup Finals in the first place. And now he got pulled in the last game. He's been awful the last four periods. So unless they get something together, Vegas is going to win their first Stanley Cup in 6 years. They've been in the league 6 years and about to win the Stanley Cup. But you know, their owner, the first year that they came in the league, he said that they would win the Stanley Cup in 6 years.
Oh, that's what's
and
up.
It's been 6 years, and they're about to win the Stanley Cup.
That's what's up. I was watching the game Saturday night, and it was real good. You know, the first two periods they were hitting, hitting hard, scored the first two goals. It was back. They were going one after another. One scored, another one scored. One scored, the other one scored. But then when that third period hit,
It was over.
It was over. It has been over ever since.
All over.
Hey,
Yes, I mean game two was over in like 5 minutes.
One quick note.
Go ahead.
Hey, when it was funny, one quick note. If you guys recall last week on our NHL hockey updates or Dorian's hockey updates, one of the things he pointed out was for the goalie on fire, he's unstoppable. And turn around and Vegas is killing this guy. Like, so that was kind of funny looking at our updates. We were all looking forward to a Stanley Cup championship. We were saying last week, Florida Panthers was just balling out, stopping everything, and now he gets here and he can't stop grandma in a wheelchair.
He playing like Wayne, right, Dante? So anyway, that's our Vegas. You know, it's only one more series left, and that's the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's
basically it.
That's our NHL update. But we do have the college baseball World Series going on, both for the women and the men.
Both women and
well, there hasn't been much happening. Yeah, the women. Well, Oklahoma. I mean, dude, still, them women hit bombs. And they have now their win streak is now 51 straight. They have been to the Women's College World Series the last 3 out of 4 years. They're playing Florida State, who they actually played in 2021. So it's a rematch of a couple of years ago. But I don't know if Florida State is ready for what Oklahoma is bringing this year.
They ain't ready for that smoke.
Oh man. All I can say is them women hit bombs, man. Their lineup is crazy from top to bottom. In addition to pitching, but really, it's really about their hitting. So hopefully, Florida State can give them a game. But again, this is one of those. Like I said, I like to see the best teams play like the best teams, and Oklahoma is really playing like the best team right now.
In the 2 out of 3?
Yeah, it's 2 out of 3.
So give them a chance.
They got a chance. I mean, Florida State definitely got a chance.
And then you have the College World Series. They're in the regionals, so we still got a little bit more to go with them.
Yeah, they're in the super regionals. Yeah,
super regionals. But if you watch the highlights on ESPN, they show them brothers. You know what I noticed in the College World Series? There's a lot of brothers that play college baseball, but they don't never make it to the pros.
They never play to the pros.
They bury them all in the minor leagues, Rodney. Exactly. That's why we make it a point on this show, especially brothers in baseball, to make a point like Homer Bush Jr., Mr. Walker, and all these other young stars. I tell you another young star, Kevion Bryant, the guy from Pittsburgh, who should be on the All-Star ballot. It's some brothers balling out here, man. And you don't hear about them or see about them because, like, you got too many rounds in the Major League Baseball draft, first and foremost, as it is. And then, like you said, they bring these kids up, they trade them. You never know where they go. At least with the NBA, they'll go over trip or something. You can actually follow those guys a little bit easier. In baseball, good luck. Just last week, we talked about the Major League Draft that's coming up with players, the kid from the couple that came over that's going to be competing in Homer Bush and these things. We need more, and this is the showcase. At that particular tournament, I'm hoping to see at least 10% of us at those games. So you make a great and valid point, Rodney. We're not well represented as we should be in Major League Baseball. Numerous brothers throughout college playing right now.
You know what's also interesting about that is you think about the fact that there used to be a lot of brothers that played baseball, right? And now I think it's shrunk down. It was like maybe, what was it? I know it's less than 10% of Major League Baseball, Black Americans, right? Again, Black Americans. And how that number has shrunk. But it's interesting how you saw part of the reason you started seeing the athletes start playing other sports was because they didn't have to go to the minor leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the NBA, you know, didn't have a minor league, you know, football, yeah, but you know, they went to college and they still matriculate, you know, again to the NFL, play professionally. But baseball, but now the other sports are going to those minor leagues. You see basketball, really the G League. So now the kids are, instead of going to college, they're now going to the G League. So it's interesting kind of how that kind of dynamic has kind of changed, and that you see those other sports where Black players were going to because they could immediately go pro and make that kind of money are now changing to the same kind of format of that particular sport of baseball that brothers were trying to get away from. So it's just kind of interesting in that sense, because again, like you said, they didn't want to get buried in the minor leagues like we see happen.
Yeah, that was just a like I said.
And another thing, man, one other thing we don't see as much anymore are Black pitchers. So if your kids are going to school to play ball or whatever, especially baseball, we need some more brothers to get out there and start pitching again, especially left-handers. So, and then one last final note: we're talking about Major League in college baseball. Please get rid of the aluminum bat. It's time. These kids, like I said, go right out of high school, can turn pro. With their pro, guess what? They use wood. So get rid of the aluminum bat in baseball. That's just my final thought and final note when it comes to college baseball in general.
So, all right, with that, next we're going to talk about, so this week, this man just cannot stay out of the news. So Tom Brady.
Clickbait, man. It's clickbait.
Tom Brady bought into the Las Vegas Raiders. He's now a part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. He has a 10-year contract with is it Fox or CBS? It's Fox, right? He has a contract. I don't remember who the network is. Whatever the network is, he has a 10-year, 300 CBS 10-year, $375 million contract to be a broadcaster. But even with all of that's going on,
it's
again, Fox. Tom Brady had to come out and say that he's done playing because people keep asking him. The question is, why don't people believe that Tom Brady is officially retired?
Because they need something to talk about.
Yeah, pretty much. Or they just don't want to accept it.
Clickbait.
Yeah,
click.
I mean,
yeah, they don't want to accept it.
That's all, because
we just saw Tom Brady
because he didn't really retire the first time.
Exactly.
So I guess what it is, Rodney, to your answer, until Tom Brady officially goes to the NFL, which I thought he signs the paperwork, I'm retired, then that's going to be another story. Then people will probably believe him.
And see,
he said he did that, but have we officially ever seen the documents that show Tom Brady? Huh?
Why?
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, he came out again. But that's what people want to see.
So the problem is the reason why he
that answer Rodney's question. Why don't nobody believe him? That's what Rodney's asking. It's like
that's something that would
gotta show documents. I am not coming back.
Yeah, that would kind of make people start realizing, you know what, he actually did sign those papers. Because last time, the reason he was able to come back and play is because he announced his retirement, but he never officially signed the retirement papers.
Didn't sign.
So that was the only because once you sign the retirement papers, you go for it at the minimum a year. So he was able to come back and play again. So
Tom enjoys that spotlight.
And he does. He does. Him and Aaron Rodgers, they love the spotlight.
Nobody believes him, right?
So until
that's why nobody believes him, Rodney.
Show me the paper. Show me the paper.
But that's the point, though, is that this is what gives them the spotlight. Is to sit around and have folks talk about it and debate it. It's just like Aaron Rodgers.
Talking about Tom Brady, man. Leave Tom Brady alone.
It's just like the Aaron Rodgers thing. Just want to be in the news. You
Tom Brady playing golf,
the center of attention. I mean, whatever. And yeah,
Anyway,
He
that
don't
was
play for the
that
Bengals.
was funny to me. But on to a more serious
Ain't nobody
NFL
talking
topic.
about Tom Brady, man. Like I said,
On to a more
it
serious.
ain't even
NFL
serious no
topic.
more. It's getting to the point of ridiculous now, Rodney.
It is ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
You gotta
It's getting to the
know
point of
when to hold them.
When to hold him,
Bring that show back. I used
Know
to
when to fold them.
when to fold him.
Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You never count your money.
When
When
you're
you're
sitting
sitting
at
at the table,
There'll
there'll be
be
time enough to count
He wasn't at the table.
when
When
the
the
deal
deal
is
is
done.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. That is the problem. So
All right, Rodney.
this week,
Tell us about your boy.
this
'Cause he
week,
wasn't even sitting at the table.
this week in
He
our
was in the
edition
shower.
of Gamblers Anonymous, we have a new person that's joining the group, and his name is Isaiah Rogers Sr. He's a defensive back for the Indianapolis Colts, kick returner, sixth round draft pick from 2020, who worked his way into a starting job this past season. He actually started 9 games this past season and was expected to be the starter again this year. However, a little something happened along the way, along his journey. Mr. Rogers decided that
Mr. Rogers. It's a
Stop
beautiful
in
day in the
Vegas for a gambling
neighborhood.
trip.
A beautiful day for a neighbor.
Mr. Rogers decided that he just needed how they had these videos going around about those those little side hustles. He just needed a little side hustle, and his side hustle was playing betting on sports on his phone. But wait, there was a little twist to this. Mr. Rogers knew that what he was doing was an illegal activity in regards to his NFL contract. So what did he do? He convinced a friend to establish an account on a burner phone, and he used his burner phone to make his bets. But wait, there's still more. Not only did he use his burner
But
phone,
wait, there's more.
he used his
Where do
burner
you make
phone
them bets at, Rodney?
to make bets inside the Colts training facility and
Yeah,
stadium.
it ain't so.
But wait, there's even more. Because not only did he make bets on sports inside the Colts training facility and stadium, this brother made bets on his own team.
Say it ain't
Pete
so.
Rose.
On his
It
own
is
team. Allegedly.
Pete Rose,
I'm
where are
sorry.
you?
I have to put it out there, allegedly, because he has not been officially suspended just yet. However,
Wait.
Oh, that's a formality.
He did take full account. He's guilty.
However,
He admitted
there
guilt.
we go. He came out and said that he is sorry. He accepts full responsibility for his actions, and he looks forward to rehabbing his image and being back in the league at a later date.
Next
Right.
year.
However,
Let's play the sound effect for this brother.
However, as Dude said, that's what he's gonna get, because the other players that got year suspensions were suspended because they actually bet on football, not their own team, just football. This brother bet on his own team. Now, what we don't know is whether or not, what hasn't come out yet is whether or not he bet on his team to win or he bet on his team to lose. But whatever the case is, you know damn well that you can't bet on your own team to do nothing. You can't bet on football. Which again was the reason why he got the burner account from his buddy. So Mr. Isaiah Rogers has now joined the other idiots that were suspended this year.
5 of them before?
And what's my man name that played for Jacksonville now that was with the Falcons?
Calvin Ridley from last year.
Calvin Ridley.
That would make 6. I'm gonna compile that list. I'm gonna get my own NFL booking list back together.
But here's the problem though, y'all. And so one of the things, listen to the talking heads, they start talking about how this is a bad thing for NFL, blah blah blah. But the problem is, the NFL is in bed with these casinos, right? So
DraftKings, all of them.
yeah, they're in bed with these casinos. So you can bet on any sport that you want to. You can gamble on anything other than football. Other than football, which again, I understand not being able to gamble on football, but is the rule that they have in place that they've had in place for a long time? It's not a new rule. They've had the rule in place for a long time, but is that rule a little bit archaic now that you can't bet? You can't place bets at the facilities
on your own sport. The rule is in place and perfect, regardless of whether he did it in facility or not. Rodney, he bet on his own team and football. That's all. He bet on football.
Yeah,
he could have been 2 miles, 10 miles away. Burn a phone or not, he did it on football, and then it's still under investigation whether it was against his team, for against his team. So that's the first two. So that rule is already in place. He could have bet on the basketball game, on the championship. He could be betting on Miami. Then he could be betting on college baseball. It's been there forever. When they legalized the betting in sports, all these leagues knew what the ramifications were, and they made it a valid point. Made it a point. This is what will happen to you because of this new marriage with gaming and gambling sites. With all these teams going to Las Vegas now, they knew what they were getting into. So I don't blame any of these leagues with harsh punishment on idiots. They're idiots trying to cheat the system and too dumb to cheat. You're inside the facility. Take your burner phone 2 miles away, and we may not even be talking about this right now.
So again, I don't
dumb athletes.
The rule about betting on your own sport is perfect. I understand that. That's not what I'm even questioning. You should never be able to bet on your own sport if you want to play in that sport. That's fine. And you sure as hell better not be betting on your own team. Now, that's just way beyond anything. Because again, just like Pete Rose, if you bet on your own team, you shouldn't be able to bet on your own sport. Period.
Sport anyway. Yeah.
The question that I have is, like you just talking about, what is wrong with me if I'm allowed to bet on college basketball? What's wrong with me being able to pull out my phone and bet on a college basketball game while I'm training? What is wrong with that?
Because it's not your sport.
That's not my sport. Yes, I'm in your facility. That's the part that I have question with. Again, they put this in place way back when to prevent people from trying to gamble.
I know what you're saying. Because of these nefarious individuals, these 5 or 6 previously that we've already talked about, trying to cheat the system. I know what you mean about the facility, Rodney. As long as I'm in the facility, using my phone and betting on somebody weeks ago, Dorian, that took the bribe or whatever, you never know what they're doing even in another sport that could bring a black eye back to your organization because you got caught in this big gambling ring. This is how rings are started. So I have no problem with any of these guys being suspended because they're too lazy to get in their car and drive down the street. Drive off the property.
Right. But
what's the difference?
Well, not your sport. Here or 2 miles down the road, I'm still betting on basketball. What's the difference? I'm
betting on something else.
I think this is the thing. I think what it does is
I just told you the difference. You're inside that organization's facility, and if you're doing something illegal, that comes back to bite you.
Okay, I look at it this way.
There might be a delay. I think there was a delay.
Yeah. What I think is that betting in the facility gives the implications of impropriety. It is, again, the idea of what they say perception is, greater than reality, right? And while I think that teams understand it, or that the NFL essentially understands the idea that people bet on their league or whatever outside of the sport, that kind of thing. But I think that it's the same kind of thing as far as I don't think they want to look like they support gambling habits. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's what it is. It's like, okay,
it's a bad look.
It's probably the same thing. For example, but then, like I bet in Arizona. I bet, again, we know it's in the off season, but again, understand my point is that marijuana is legal in Arizona, right? But I bet the players, you can't smoke at the facility, right? So the gambling thing, I see the gambling thing is kind of the same way, is that they don't want to give off the idea in any way, shape, or form that they are supporting what could become habitual gambling.
But then at the same time,
I think that that's what it probably.
At the same time, D, I kind of see what Rodney's saying, but the league is sponsoring the gambling sites,
right?
And they're profiting from the gambling sites,
right?
So I mean, is it kind of hypocritical?
Yeah. Oh, it's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
No,
it's extremely hypocritical.
Yeah,
but
I don't think it's hypocritical at all, guys. It's a money thing. They're sponsoring it, but there's also rules to that. Just like these tennis players we talked about, they're sponsors. They have sponsors enough to go out and play. But if you cheat or get disqualified, you lose that money. Again, what Dorian was pointing out, it gives a bad perception and can create a bad environment. Who were the NBA players that got into a fight, shooting each other with the guns over gambling in the locker room? I forgot those players' names. You guys remember what I'm talking about?
Let me stop you right there. So if that's the case, then why even sponsor the gambling?
There you go. If you don't want,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why it's hypocritical.
If you don't want the perception,
you want to give off that those implications,
then why are you even sponsoring it?
Exactly, because it's money.
Because it's money. It's okay for them to make the money, though. It's okay for them to make the money, so they can do whatever they want to. And I would be willing to bet. That these owners are making bets at the facility. So that they need to like they're going through searching everybody's phone.
I'm gonna give you another example.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dante.
Another example, like Dorian brought up. If your employer, you're in a facility, if your employer, even though it may be legal to do this or that, like you said, if you can't smoke vapes inside of government facilities or this or that, a vape, even though it's legal to do it, but inside a building around others, you can't do that. It's kind of very similar. Your employer, the site where you're at is still private property. They can still impose their own rules. This is a basic property rule. That's the owner's rules. Yeah, you can do this and that. Yeah, you can gamble, but just not certain things. It's right there.
No.
It's in the collective bargaining agreement. I mean, we're debating something that's white.
If you fall under that, then in that jurisdiction, you have
we're
to
saying that NFL's hypocrites. No, they're not.
No, it is hypocritical because you're trying not to. You're trying not to show that you're in support of maybe gambling addiction, but at the same time you're sponsoring it. You're making money off of it
because you showing DraftKings commercials.
So that is,
I understand.
So that is hypocritical.
I understand that.
Now, I mean, they got the rules. We understand that. They got
it's not a point.
That's not the point.
Guys, other players that are hurting that image.
Yeah, the folks that broke the rule deserve all the punishment that
they're making their money, but you got these
breaking those rules. That's
hurting that image, that sponsorship.
Yeah, the folks that broke the rules deserve everything they got. That's not the question. The question is the rule about them being able to, if they want to gamble, inside the facility. What's the difference between gambling inside their facility and then going 2 miles down the road to do it? They still gambling. But we'll be on that for a minute. This is supposed to be a quick blur. The other things we talked about.
The reason they got caught again, they got caught betting on their own teams.
Now he's
football.
an idiot.
Remember, each one of these guys that got in trouble, they were betting on
Yeah,
we understand that.
Football, Rodney. That's the difference.
No,
we understand that.
That's what the investigation is about. We know these guys in every sport do it.
All right, let's actually get to our topics of discussion. Let's actually get to our topics of discussion. On these last couple ones, I'm gonna put down a little bit lower. But today, a bombshell hit the sports world that is bigger than anything you've seen in a long time.
We don't have a bomb sound effect, y'all.
I got a bomb.
Boom.
They a bomb. They didn't a bomb. But it ain't this though, dudes.
Oh, there you go. Boom. Yeah. We'll make our own sound. Boom.
Right.
So Dorian Anthony Brown, bruh, talk to me about what happened today with the LIV, the PGA, and the DP World Tour.
So, after all the insults back and forth, after all of the billion or hundreds of millions of dollar lawsuits, LIV, PGA, and the DP World Tour have now all joined forces. The lawsuits have been dropped.
But did they really? But keep going.
The lawsuits have been dropped, right? And so now we're seeing cooperation between these three tours. So essentially, all of this talk about the Saudis and Saudi money and the human rights violations of the Saudi government, and nobody wanted to be a part of this Saudi-backed league.
Because they were responsible for 9/11 too. Remember that?
Yeah, they were responsible for 9/11.
Now, all of a sudden, they realized they could not compete with all of that Saudi money, and they decided to join forces.
I got money.
Rich what?
Rich.
They're rich.
Got that A-rap.
As the horrible song by Deion Sanders, went, must be the money that's turning them on, must be the money.
we gonna overlook D and his horrible reference of Deion Sanders music. I don't think anybody but D remembers that song.
Oh, Deion Prime remembers it.
All right, so real quick, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, the LIV Tour, as D said, the LIV Tour, the PGA, and the DP World Tour, which is the European Tour, merged today. However, they're going to go. The only thing that's really going to happen now is that the LIV Tour, the Saudis, are going to finance all of the PGA. So PGA they're gonna like be the quote unquote manager, but the Saudis are gonna be the one that's financing everything. And the DP Tour, they're just there. They just want to be part of it. But the interesting thing is that they're taking on a lot of the rules that the LIV Tour established. Why? Because those are the things that the players were talking about. They wanted to have more time to be with their families, more time to train. Because right now, as Dorian and I were looking, the PGA Tour has a 50-week schedule. They only get 2 weeks off in the year, and that's the 2 weeks at Christmas time. The week of Christmas and the week of New Year's. Other than that, there's a tournament every weekend. The LIV Tour was a little different. Is that they only had 14
events, 14 LIV events. And they were only 54 holes.
And they only played 54 holes. As D explained to us last week, that's where the LIV came from, the 54. So they're going to take on a lot of...
Everybody gets paid.
And there you go. The biggest thing is that now everybody gets paid. But here's the problem. And this is what... Well, first off, this thing came so far out of left field that didn't nobody know about it. Not the players, the TV networks. Nobody knew about this these backdoor dealings until today when they announced it via Twitter. They just bust out and say, "Hey, we joining forces." And what is his name? Oh Lord, the PGA commissioner, Monahan. What's his name?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's Monahan.
Monahan, who is the same person who 1 year ago today was complaining about
Jay Monahan,
how these players, how can they look themselves in the face because they're going over here to take this Saudi money, and the Saudis have, how they have all of these human rights violations, and of course, they were the ones responsible for 9/11, and you're over there taking your money. How can you look yourself in the face and you do all this? And then exactly 1 year later, you get billions upon billions upon billions of dollars from these same Saudis that you talked about a year ago.
Well, right, that's different.
That's different. It's different. Now the money ain't going to them; it's coming to me. So it's
exactly.
different.
That's different. It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. But you have players who stuck by the PGA because of these so-called values. They stuck by the PGA, stayed with them. They didn't go take the money. Players like Tiger, who got offered, reportedly $1 billion to go play, to just go play in the tour. Whether he won or not, he's gonna make $1 billion. You had what's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Rory McIlroy.
Rory McIlroy, who got offered hundreds of millions of dollars and turned it down, didn't go play because of he wanted to keep the sanctity of the PGA Tour, blah, 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 blah.
Jack Nicklaus.
Never once said any of them. Jack Nicklaus.
They offered him $800 million, didn't they? To just basically.
Jack's like 98 years old. They offered him $800 million just to come over.
They offered Charles Barkley like $100 million to do the commentary. Remember?
Just to do the commentary.
Right.
So they were just throwing money off left and right. But the thing about it, those players that actually went over there, they actually got paid. Whether they played, they won the tournament or whatever. Just for playing, they got paid. And that's one of the things that the PGA Tour just could not do. They could not afford to do what it was that the Live Tour was doing. So their only recourse, they was going to lose that lawsuit, and they knew that. They were going to lose that lawsuit, and they couldn't pay that back. They were losing players left and right.
Jack Nicklaus was offered $100 million to be the CEO of Live.
Oh, okay. But they were losing their golfers left and right. They were losing money left and right. They were going to lose this lawsuit. So the only thing they decided to do, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. That's the only thing I can say. But the ones that lost, because the PGA Tour they're winning because they're going to get all this extra money. The ones that lost are those people that stuck by the PGA,
the loyal ones,
that money, didn't take that money, and now they still going to get all them people back over here who did take the money, and they all going to be part of the same thing. So how do you reconcile that?
And you lose face.
Yes.
I mean, again, we were talking about this earlier, and it was funny because I had seen this, but I hadn't read it yet, about a shot essentially that Phil Mickelson threw at Rory McIlroy. So Rory McIlroy was basically talking about this idea that the players have been trying to get the PGA to give them an off season. I didn't know until Rodney and I were talking about this earlier that they only got 2 weeks, that there was a tournament. They had 50 tournaments, right? Because we were trying to figure out how they were going to do this, because Live has a season and then they get off time. And so we were talking about what tournaments are basically going to have to go or which are going to stay and, that kind of stuff. So Rory makes the comment that he wanted to have this time in the off season, to really get his swing together. And it would be great to have an off season where he can take the time to work on his mechanics. And so Phil says, and I quote, "As worn out as McIlroy was after the Masters and his need for an off season, Live would be perfect for him. Problem is, I don't think there's a team that wants him on it because they'd have to deal with all of his BS." So basically, Phil Mickelson is like, yeah, now you got to become a part of this, but you talked all of that smack about it. And so now here you come. Now you got to eat all of that. Remember Chinese Connection when Bruce Lee smashed the sign and was like, eat, eat. They all eating all of those words right now. All of them are eating all of those words. But I bet you they ain't gonna turn down that money.
Oh no. Oh no. They're gonna get that money. They're gonna get that money.
Yeah. Because that money is guaranteed. He guaranteed. Even if he don't make the cut, he's guaranteed to get money.
The thing about it is that for the Saudi Federation, this is play stuff for them. You know, they can go to sleep, wake up in the morning, they got $2 billion in their account because of all this freaking oil that everybody buying from them. So
right.
to come up with money is nothing. Yeah, I give you $1 billion. Well, that's nothing for me. I can make that in a couple of hours, right? So for them to invest all this money into the PGA, they bought the PGA Tour today. That's what they did. Yeah. They bought the PGA Tour today.
They did.
And the PGA, they just, your boy Money, he just stepped back.
And you know what else?
What up? Go ahead, Dante.
But we wait on the delay.
Get a little delay there.
And now he's stuck. But yeah. So anyway,
I was waiting for you to finish the point. I was going to in regards to how much did they offer? Who's that? How much did they offer? Was it Jack Nicklaus? You said to be the CEO. Who did they offer? How much money to be the CEO?
Jack Nicklaus. They offered him $100 million.
So follow the story. So now that they've merged, now that they've been bought out, it's still giving that offer, and let's see if that offer also goes up. You see what I mean? So he got offered this before. Let's see if he takes this again, or let's see who becomes this new CEO of this new merger, if you will, of this new managing partnership that they're doing.
So here's the question:
that's what's going to be.
What they're doing is they're bringing these three corporations together and building another. So what are they going to name this thing now? They're not going to say the PGA Tour anymore. They're not going to say it's the LIV Tour. What are they going to name this thing now?
Who's going to run it?
And who's going to run it? Well,
who's going to be the CEO?
So I wouldn't have Monahan running it because
how much is he going to get? They offered him $100 million at first before this.
Monahan scribbled up and just gave away the whole farm.
Yeah,
right.
He proved that he could be bought.
Right. Exactly. Oh yeah. And I don't think that they would offer Jack Nicklaus that. I don't think that they really truly wanted Jack Nicklaus to be CEO. Mm-hmm. They wanted Jack Nicklaus's name.
Face.
They wanted his image. They want his legacy. And for him, if you could get Jack Nicklaus to come over there and say, "Hey, I'm the CEO." All he was the face. He was going to basically become the face. They were going to use his history
to help them compete against the PGA.
To help them compete against the PGA. If Jack Nicklaus comes, then everybody would have been coming.
Tiger would have been there.
But Tiger would have been there, of course. But Jack old enough in his 80s that he don't need it anyway. He don't need any of that kind of stuff. So he's not worried about that. But again, I wouldn't want Monahan. Exactly. He's going to, but I think that they're going to have some type of triumvirate. I think it's going to be some type of board, not just one particular CEO. I think it's going to be another number of people. I think probably what they're going to do, at least from the beginning for a while, depending on how these tournaments go, I think that they're going to need somebody from each one of the leagues. I think they're going to need somebody from the PGA because you've got those big tournaments as we were talking about before. You've got the FedEx Cup. You've got the John Deere, you've got the Memorial, you've got the Colonial, you've got all those kinds of things. I think you've got some of those big events that are part of the European Tour. You're going to need somebody who knows something about all of those kinds of things. So I think it'll be some kind of board with
who's the managing? Who's the manager?
Who's the manager of what?
So we know Monahan's. So we know Monahan's, he's basically the CEO or whatever, director of PGA. Who's the managing operator for Live? Because it's easy to look up who those directors are. Those two directors are.
Greg
Norman. It was the Shark. It was Greg Norman.
Yeah, he's the CEO of Live.
Yeah, it was Greg Norman.
I'm looking to see who's the CEO of
PGA or of Live.
Yeah, it was Greg Norman. Greg Norman was the head, was over Live.
And Keith Pelly is the CEO of.
So Greg Norman's over Live.
Yeah, Greg Norman is over Live. and Keith Pelly. So it's going to be Pelly, Monahan.
So like Dorian was saying, that triumvirate, and those three probably without the PGA guy Monahan.
So only thing about that is when you have so here's the thing. As the Live coming over here being part of this triumvirate, if I'm the one bringing the money, I'm gonna need the most say if I'm bringing the money. So I'm not gonna let Monahan be the lead or the other dude, Keith Kelly, be the lead if I'm the one bringing the money. Mm-hmm. So I can't see either one of those two being the quote unquote leader.
So, Greg Norman.
I don't see a 3-headed monster either, because when you have 3 people, you'll never get any decisions done. It's all about the way it's
Greg Norman that runs Live. It'll be Greg Norman.
It's going to be, well, as it sits right now, it's going to be Greg Norman, whatever they call this new thing that they're trying to form. But the thing that D and I were talking about earlier, like I said, there's 50 tournaments with the PGA Tour. There's 14 with the Live, and how many? Let me see. DP World Tour schedule.
While you looking for that, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Going back to Rory McIlroy. So we were talking about. So we were looking at who was commissioner of Live Golf. Again, we figured out Greg Norman. I remember Greg Norman. Well, listen to what Greg Norman said in February of this year. Okay. I'm looking at this from Yahoo Sports. Says Norman, who lives in Palm Beach Gardens, was asked about Rory during an interview with golf.com, and specifically McIlroy's comments about 3 months ago that Norman needs to step aside as Liv's commissioner. He said he knows something about the PGA Tour. He sits on the Players Advisory Council, but Rory doesn't know what he's talking about with Liv because he doesn't know the facts. And if he wants to throw out a comment like that, I've always been a fan of Rory's, but my advice to him would be to just sit back, just take stock, watch what happens, and watch what you say. Because in the end, there may be a situation where he'll be asked a few questions that he may not want to answer because of the way he's come out and been vocal on that front. So yeah, now you got the answer again.
Which says Greg Norman knew about this back then. He knew this was coming down.
He knew they didn't have a choice.
Yeah, they had no choice.
He knew they wasn't gonna have a choice. It was too much money.
So
big bank takes little bank.
So here you go, D. There's 50 tournaments in the PGA. There's 47 tournaments in the DP World Tour, and you got 14 tournaments for Live. How they gonna come up with a schedule, bro?
I bet. Okay, they're gonna come up with how long the season is gonna be.
Let's say 30. Let's say 30 weeks.
30 weeks. Okay, so they're gonna take those 14 Live events. They're not going anywhere.
They ain't going nowhere.
They're gonna take stuff like, again,
the
Colonial, the majors. You said the majors aren't associated with the PGA or any of them.
They're still in the schedule. They're still in the schedules.
Okay. So they're gonna take the 4 majors. They're gonna take the 14 Live events, and they're probably going to take, I would say, probably about maybe the six or 7 of the major ones from the PGA, and then from the European Tour, and they're going to probably have about I would say probably a 40 tournament season.
So that'll get 12 weeks vacation.
That gives them 3 months off. That's how I look at it.
I can see that.
But this is going to be interesting now, though. This is what I think is interesting, because I don't know if it exists. I don't think it does, because they're all independent contractors. But think about the fact that now that everybody is guaranteed money to come to Live. Well, that's a salary. Is there going to be a players union?
That's the next thing.
Are they going to unionize now in order to negotiate? Because what's happening is think about the fact that Live, in many ways, because golfers were independent contractors, could offer each individual golfer
whatever they
different
wanted.
amounts of money. whatever they wanted, however they wanted to do that. Well, again, collective bargaining kind of prevents you in many ways from being able to do that. So not only do you have to think about are the players on the lower end are going to be willing to negotiate, to unionize, but what about the players at the high end who are the ones that are winning and making all the money anyway? Are they going to now be willing to unionize? And so that's I think that's going to be an interesting development that's going to come up next with all of this.
Dita created a golfing players union.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we'll keep close tabs on this. You know, we all love the sport of golf, and we're happy that the players in Live, the executives in Lives, I can care less about them. It's the players in Live. We're happy that the players in Live are no longer ostracized for going to do what each and every one of us would go do if given that opportunity.
Is make money.
Go to make this money. Now,
you gotta get the money.
Now, y'all, we got our favorite sport for right now. Because it's this season. Come September, it will be a different favorite sport. But right now, our favorite sport is the NBA.
Because we like the way they dribble up and down the court.
It's like I'm the king on the microphone. So it's Dr. J and Moses.
All right, Boogie News.
Yeah.
Your brothers down there in South Beach. What's going on,
man? Our boys in Miami, they're still doing it. They're still upsetting everybody. I was I could say pleasantly surprised that they won that game, the second game. The first game went pretty much as we expected the whole series to go. I think most of us said that Miami would win one. Did we? Did anybody say sweep? I don't think nobody said sweep.
I said they would get at least one.
Yeah, I said they would win the fourth game in Miami to be specific. So I said they would win. They would lose the first three, win the fourth one, and then be eliminated. So far, I guess we still all on track though. Other than that,
our predictions still suck. It don't matter.
But yeah, I mean, this only just make it unanimous for us this year. All of us are wrong all the time. But nothing's changed.
So it was a dramatic difference between the first game and the second game. Spolstra. Say again?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Spolstra.
Okay, well, I'll let you finish, and then I'll say what I mean.
So Spolstra changed some things up.
Yeah.
He changed the lineup. He changed the strategy that now Denver has to react to. They didn't do a very good job in the second game, but now they have these couple of days to get their mind right and figure out, what Miami did and try to change some things in game three. So what Spolstra did was he went bigger. He put Kevin Love in the game, who is a shell of himself, man. It's crazy how much his game has changed in these last couple.
By the time is undefeated,
man. It's just crazy how his game has changed.
He's whooped all of us.
Yeah, he's up there. But he put he put Kevin Love in the game, and now what they decided to do was they're gonna make Joker become a scorer versus a distributor. And as a scorer, for whatever reason, Denver's record is not that great when he scores 40 points a game. As a distributor, when he gets 12 assists, they're almost undefeated. So that was one of the things that Spolstra saw, which just shows you how Spolstra's just a real good coach, man.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
There's really nothing you can say bad about him.
I have to finally give it to him. He's a great coach.
I got to give it to him. As much as I hate them, I got to give it to him. He's a hell of a coach. So, dudes, with that, what do you think they're going to do for this game 3?
Well, I think Denver's going to make the necessary adjustments. We all talk about how Miami has forced the Joker to become a scorer, but in all actuality, if Jamal Murray had got going, like he normally gets going, nobody on Miami can stop him. So a Gabe Vincent can't stop Jamal Murray, who can he doesn't rely solely on Joker to create offense for him. He can score off the dribble or, score in many other ways. So I think it'll be a more concentrated effort on like a Murray to, pick up the scoring load to assist Joker with that. But yeah, like I said, Spoelstra, he's an amazing coach. We have to finally give him his due. I think
much as we hate
the thing with Miami, like we said, we talk about all the time, the others for Miami, the undrafted crew, those guys have been playing amazing. Gabe Vincent, Struz, what's the other guys? Highsmith and Duncan Robinson. I think those are the variables that, nobody could like really count on. Well, they couldn't really predict that they were going to do what they've done this whole playoffs. So I think I see Denver winning the next game, but Miami, like I said, and Spoelstra in specific is doing an amazing job. At Bam and Jimmy Butler, they're playing steady, but I think they could both play a little bit better.
Yeah, they're not playing spectacular, but they are steady. D.
But here's the big one too. Nobody mentioned anything about the old Wiley veteran Kevin Love. That was the big change in that roster, in that lineup. Who knew Kevin Love still has some game in him? Nobody.
It's the delay. It's the delay. Don't worry about it. It's the delay. Okay. Hey, D, bruh, I'm gonna ask you this question. What is really going on with Michael Porter Jr., man? Where has he been?
He broke. He what has happened is he has, again, he got 3 happy. And what he started doing is he starting to shoot more threes than he is anything else than 2-pointers. He's gotten away from what he had been doing, and he's broke. He's like, what, 3 for 14 or 2 for 14 or something like that from 3.
Something crazy
in the finals. If you look at the differences between what he's doing from 2-point range and what he did from 3-point range, and then look at how he started shooting way more threes than he was initially. That's been the big change in what's happening with Michael Porter Jr. And he broke, and he needs to start using his size and speed advantage, and go down and some of these smaller players, and then take them to the basket, get some fouls, do some stuff like that. But he got 3 happy. Now, what the point that I was going to say to y'all earlier is when you say that there's a big difference in game 1 and game 2, was there really, or was there just a big difference starting in the third quarter when they came back? Because remember, they were losing by 15.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And they were down 8 going into the fourth quarter. So it's really kind of like not necessarily that the whole game was different. It was really just that kind of starting from the third quarter on was kind of different. So did Denver kind of let up because they felt that they had this fourth quarter lead and had been playing so well? Now, I also agree with you as far as when Jokic is a scorer, completely a scorer, rather than a scorer and a distributor, right? When he does both, they're way better than when he just does one. You're absolutely right about that. But at the same time, Denver gave up a 15-point lead. Mm-hmm. So is that Miami or is that just Denver? And I think going back to your question about asking me about Michael Porter Jr., that's part of the reason that Miami was able to come back from 15 is because Michael Porter Jr. is not shooting well. Aaron Gordon has been playing well, but Michael Porter Jr. is not. Brown has been playing well. Michael Porter Jr. has not.
I just wanted to make a point, since we talk about Michael Porter Jr., remember in the bubble when Michael Porter Jr. was crying about his role and he wanted to be more of a scorer and, wanted to be emphasized more in the offense. And I kind of like the way Mike Malone handled that, because nowadays, everybody kind of the NBA players, NBA coaches cave into the players. But Mike Malone's like, no, we have a system and this is how we're going to play. We're going to play through our big guy, and that's the way it's going to be. And I think, and now we're seeing, the
tears.
What comes from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then playing bad. And
Michael Porter Jr., he played 26 minutes.
He wanted to be the star.
He played 26 minutes in game 2. He was 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3-pointers. So he shot 6 3-pointers hit one. He had a negative 15 plus minus score, and he only scored 5 points.
Yeah, he wanted to be the focus of the offense and the star, but in reality, they would have never won that way. You know, they did right to focus on Joker, and then Jamal as the number 2 guy.
So looking toward game 3, you see who do you see winning, Dante?
What was that, Rodney? Who I got in game 3?
Who do you think is gonna win game 3?
Denver.
You rolling with the Nuggets in Miami, in South Beach?
Yep.
Okay. What about you, dudes? It's prediction time.
Like y'all was saying,
I think
just don't let Porter shoot.
I think Denver will get them this time in Miami, and I still see Miami winning the second game in Miami as well. So
they still gonna win game 4.
I'm still going with that. I got to get something right in this series. I got to get something right.
All right, Deb, what you got?
It'll be over.
It's I don't know, man. It's really hard because I thought that Miami would get one at home.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna get it. It's gonna be game 4.
I see. But see, I didn't think it would be. Yeah, I thought Denver would win it at home in game 5, but the fact that Miami won game 2 gives them a lot of confidence. So I'm afraid. I'm really afraid to pick Denver because I really think that Miami has a real good shot with a lot of confidence going back into this first game at home.
Go ahead and pick them, D. We've been wrong all year anyways.
Exactly. I'm picking them. So go ahead.
Yeah. So you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pick Miami to win game 3.
And I'm right with you, man. I'm gonna say Miami gonna win game 3. They're gonna get Tyler Hero back. Hero gonna play.
I'm glad I didn't agree with Rodney because he's always wrong.
I've been wrong all season, but they gonna get Tyler Hero back.
Oh no, he's not gonna play. I just saw it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's still hope. Let them play. But whatever the case, Miami at home is a hard out. I don't care what team they playing against. Miami at home is a hard out. So I'm still rolling with Miami.
Well, we said at the beginning when we started this whole thing and they got in as the number 8 seed. We all agreed. I remember I said it, but we all agreed that they were a different 8 seed. They weren't your normal 8 seed, and they've shown it.
They just had a lot of injuries, a lot of teams, and for whatever reason, now in the playoffs, they've been able to put it all together and surpass those injuries. They've had even more injuries in the playoffs, but they've been able to put it together and go ahead and win these games. All right. Another thing that happened this week, Dante, the Detroit Pistons got their man, and guess who got that right?
Yeah, I was wrong on that one.
Guess who got that right?
But see, he wouldn't have never taken that job.
Hey, Ash rules everything around me.
Job.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Scream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all.
He didn't want to take a job.
And he didn't. Monty Williams did not want the Detroit Pistons job. They asked him. He said no. They asked him again. He said no. They asked him a third time. He said no. And then they said, you know what? Guess what? We're going to give you this amount of money. And he said, oh, okay.
That's different. That's different.
Look like I'm going to be buying a house in Michigan. Because Monty Williams agreed to become the new Detroit Pistons head coach with a record 6-year, $78.5 million contract.
Does he have any GM?
No.
Does he have any control over
all he is the coach? All he is the coach.
Yeah,
and,
I would have turned that down either.
But wait. He got the nerve enough to have incentives in the contract that can push it up to $100 million. So
what is Detroit doing?
He could possibly make $100 million being the coach of the Detroit Pistons. But the thing about it, the position that the Pistons are in right now, they in order to get a good coach, they had to just overspend. And
that's more than overspending.
Even though Monty Williams hasn't won a thing in the NBA, he ain't won nothing yet. But he was still the best coach for this team that was out there because he's good at getting the young players to buy in and teaching them the way to play the game. So
except DeAndre Ayton.
Kudos to the Pistons. Can't nobody do nothing with DeAndre Ayton. Even the Suns, they just hired Frank Vogel, and Frank Vogel said that.
Yeah, I don't think TD Jakes could get it through to DeAndre Ayton.
Frank Vogel even said he's not married to DeAndre Ayton. So, but the Suns did hire their coach, Frank Vogel. The only coach that's out there, only coaching position that's out there right now is for the Raptors. And the Raptors is biding their time. At the end of the day, they're going to get one of these assistant coaches out here and not pay them a whole bunch of money.
They're not trying to win. They don't see their team as having the kind of team that's going to compete.
You trying to call them scraps?
For a championship.
You trying to call them scraps?
Tanking.
But the thing is that they're one of those tweener teams.
I got to give Detroit more credit than Toronto. Toronto recently won a championship. Yeah, that's crazy. But they picking through the scraps.
The Raptors, they're not bad enough to tank. They do have talented players on their team, but they're not talented enough to win the championship. So
until they lose Van Vliet.
Man, Fred Van Vliet, let him go to the Lakers.
Man, that would be great for the Lakers.
They want him. Let him go to the Lakers.
That would be great for the Lakers. It's better than
and that's exactly Dorian. Toronto is on the verge of ready to tank.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if they really thought that they were in a position to win, they would have tried to hire one of these coaches that they felt could get them over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't try to get any of these, because if they really thought that they could win, the first coach that again, maybe it's me, but the first coach I'm trying to go after is Monty Williams.
Mm-hmm.
If I really thought I could win, I'm trying to get one of these coaches. I'm trying to get even Coach
Nick Nurse,
who has won one before, right? Well, Nick Nurse, that's the one they fired.
Yeah, that's who they fired.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they didn't hire any of these guys, because they ain't hiring Doc.
Going backwards.
So the fact that they didn't hire any of these guys said that they don't really think that they're trying to win, or they think that Van Vliet and Siakam ain't gonna be there long enough either.
Mm-hmm.
That too. But I think Van Vliet would be great with the Lakers. I think he would be better with the Lakers than Kyrie.
So this brings us to our next topic, and that's the free agents in the draft preview. In Toronto has Van Vliet, who's a free agent. Well, if he opts out of his contract, he's a free agent. But they also have two other players that are on that'll be coming up on the last year, and that's OG Obanobi, or however you ever say his name, and Siakam. Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Siakam. Both of those players will be coming up on they'll be expiring contracts next year. So we'll know the direction that Toronto is going to go on the 22nd, because there's a lot of teams in the top the top of the draft that are looking to make some headway, and they really don't want inexperienced rookies on their team. They want more of the established veterans. Case in point, Portland. If you're trying to win with Dame, you got to win now, and you're not going to do that with even Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson. You're just not going to do that. So they may go ahead and package that number 3 pick and trade for Siakam, or the OG. I'm a different person when it comes to OG. OG is good, but I don't think OG is like, a superstar in the making. He's a good player to have on your team. I don't think he's worth the number 3 pick in the draft.
Nah, he's a good number 3 or number 4 player on your team, but he's not a number 2.
Siakam is different. Siakam is he's a baller.
Yeah, he's a legit number 2.
He's a legit number 2. Him and Dame Dollar would be great together. So, like I said, Toronto,
You
if
said
they go,
him and
if
who
they
would
start
be
trading those
great- him and
players,
who would be great together?
Dave Dollar and Siakam.
I thought he said
Dave
Andre Miller.
Oh, I said Andre Miller. Dave Dollar and Siakam will be great together.
Yeah.
So Toronto, you'll know which direction Toronto is going by how they approach this draft. If they start selling off the parts, they're going into a full rebuild. Then I can go ahead. I'll be okay with this little. Matter of fact, Dante, the thing I read today is that what was the coach that the one that you put in there? What's his name? Scorione, whatever his name was. What's his name?
The Spanish coach. Yeah, from Spanish.
Yeah.
Scariano. Yeah. It's been a while. I forgot. I knew you were talking about.
Actually, he is actually one of the 3 finalists for that Toronto job. So they may be going that route. But none of the coaches that they have as in their final 3 have any head coaching experience. In Toronto, yeah. In Toronto. And they're international anyway, so they'll go for the international coach.
That's the guy that's who in it.
But did you said
that's why I picked him to go, I think, too.
Yeah, that's what you picked. That's what you picked. Then you said Van Vliet to the Lakers. The rumor is the Lakers are looking at Van Vliet and also doing a sign and trade with Dallas with Kyrie Irving. I don't think they're gonna do the sign and trade because I don't really think that the Lakers brass want Kyrie Irving.
I don't think they do.
Just
and the thing about it, how long can LeBron actually continue to play? I don't see LeBron.
I thought you were gonna say how long can he stand Kyrie Irving? I thought that was what you were gonna say.
Oh, that's LeBron. That's what LeBron wants. We want Kyrie. But how long is LeBron gonna be there? If you sign Kyrie gonna want a 4-year contract. Are you giving 4-year max money to Kyrie Irving to go to the Lakers?
Mm-mm. But again, I think Van Vliet would be a better fit. I think that Van Vliet can play off the ball and be a spot-up shooter.
And he proved that playing with a Kawhi Leonard.
Exactly. I think he can play off the ball and be a spot-up shooter, as well as somebody who handles the ball. So he can be the person who's leading your second team, but he can also be the person that when LeBron is on the court and being ball dominant, he can be places and spot up.
Mm-hmm. He can play with or without LeBron.
He can play with or without the ball. And I think that he's better for that kind of game. Kyrie, again, it ain't that Kyrie ain't Kyrie. Kyrie still one of the best players. I'd love to go watch Kyrie play. Love to watch him play. But at this stage, I think that him and LeBron are a whole different dynamic together than they were at Cleveland.
So let me ask you this question. What do y'all think about the rumor of Dallas actually trading for LeBron?
I don't think that'll never happen.
To put LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka all on the same team.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Man, that would never happen, and it would never work.
It'll never work, D.
It'll never
that
work.
was the part that I laughed about. That'll never work.
Man, that'll never work. LeBron be ready to choke Luka after the first week of practice.
Exactly. It'll just never work.
That's what made it so funny to me.
That's when I saw it. I didn't even look twice at it when I saw that.
Say it again, Dante.
Yeah, that's clickbait. Yeah, that's clickbait. Nothing to see there. Keep that moving. LeBron better hope and be lucky if somebody want to come over and play with him. Sign and trade or not. 1.5 years. They can't get a big name to come over like a Van Vliet, who I think would be perfect for him. Yeah, LeBron might as well call this his last year. And yeah, you ain't gonna get to play with your son. So LeBron going to any other team besides Lakers ain't happening. That ain't gonna happen. So he better stay there and pray somebody comes to join him. And it ain't gonna be Kyrie. I don't think Kyrie's going to the Lakers either.
Now, Dante, the other rumor that I saw, and I thought about nobody but you. But your mediocre man being traded to Dallas.
National Enquirer.
Being traded to Dallas for what's his name? Bertans. What's his name, dude?
Bertans.
Yeah, for Bertans and Hardaway Jr.
We talked about that rumor. First, it was on. Then Mark Cuban said it was off.
Well, they're saying now that, but the question was, I understand you want to get rid of DeAndre Ayton, and from all of the quote unquote rumors.
No, anybody get rid of. I know
the Suns actually want to get rid of him also. But the question is, would Hardaway and Bertans and the number 10 pick, would that make Phoenix that much better? Because now you have no, but you already didn't have anybody in the middle anyway.
Exactly.
So now you have nobody. So what are they gonna do? And you in the division in the conference where you got Joker, you got Anthony Davis, you got what's the big boy in Phoenix or Portland rather? So you have all these big dudes in. You got Sabonis in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. You got all these big dudes. You get rid of Ayton. Is Bertans and Hardaway Jr. Is that enough for Ayton? Dante don't want to talk.
I think it's a step backwards.
You said again, dudes?
Well, first of all,
step backwards.
I'm going to say, and this is not being biased. Remember, I always said he was never worth $30 million. First of all, so each of those players that you mentioned, 3 players, 4 players, yeah, because the Suns need a bench because that's pretty much where those players will go. They have to eat some more money, eat another loss, which they're already doing anyway.
But the way I see it, right,
they have to get, like you said, Frank Vogel said he's not married to Ayton.
What contribution is Bertans and Hardaway Jr. going to make? Because first of all, Hardaway Jr. is a perimeter player. He's not going to take shots away from Booker or KD. And then Bertans, he's not going to take shots away from Tim Hardaway. Away from Booker or KD. So the focus is still going to be them. So those guys are just going to be on the team,
right? And that's the thing. I understand how much you want to get rid of,
and that's what the Suns don't have.
How much you want to get rid of them, but that particular rumor, I can't. I don't see even at number 10. You're not getting a great player at number 10. You can get a developmental player, and it's right now it's not a whole lot of bigs. It's not a whole lot of bigs in the college ranks coming out anyway. That can help.
And then also, Phoenix doesn't have they don't have a good power forward. So losing Ayton, then they won't have a good center or a good power forward.
All you got is 2 and 3.
Yeah, all you got is a 2 and 3. And Chris Paul is 137 years old
and a half.
He's born the same year as Rod.
Shut up, dudes.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That'd be a step backwards.
So speaking of the draft,
all you doing is trade replacement parts.
Yeah. But you got to get some value of them. I understand, the salary is high, but you got to get value for them. You can't just give them away for a box of donuts and a Snicker bar
in a bag of
chips.
Right.
Especially
that's why that would be a horrible trade to trade. That's why that's a rumor. That's why that's a rumor, right? That would be a horrible trade for Dallas and Suns to make.
On whose part? On Phoenix part.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the draft here, the draft is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks on the 22nd. So we know who going number 1. Wemby is going number 1. Given the option of Scoot Henderson,
Brandon
Miller. In this case, for the number who got Charlotte for Dudes boys. Dudes, who you picking?
Brandon Miller. That easy.
That easy.
Quick. That easy. Yeah. Well, they lost Miles Bridges, so he was like the finisher to LaMelo. I can't even say that because LaMelo jacked so many threes now. he doesn't really pass, but yeah, I mean he's the finisher that they need. So I think
Henderson can finish too, though.
Yeah, but he has the height.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but
Brandon
Miller, what 6'8",
6'9",
yeah, 6'9",
6'9".
Yeah,
Scoot Henderson is what
6'4",
6'4". Yeah, I'm taking I'm taking Miller all day. Yeah.
So for the all right, so you got Henderson, who is number 3. You got Portland. Are you keeping the pick or you trading the pick?
Well, if we know Michael Jordan, if Charlotte is dumb enough to draft Scoot Henderson number 2, then I'm taking Brandon Miller.
I mean, me personally, I would take Scoot, probably go into my rebuild mode and go ahead and trade Dame if I was Portland.
Does Dame have a no trade clause?
Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. But eventually,
I think it's time for them to go ahead and go into rebuild mode.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to, because
I would take Scoot, trade Dame, and keep it moving.
If I remember correctly, I think Dame going to be 34.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Dame may have value.
Yeah,
he may have 3 more good years. I mean, unless you decide to go out and get every free agent that's available, eventually you're gonna have to start a rebuild.
But they're not gonna come to Portland.
Nobody's coming to Portland. That's the problem.
Yeah. He doesn't have a no trade.
And is he 34, D?
Let's see.
I think he's somewhere around there. 33, 34.
32.
30. Oh, is he 32?
He'll be 33 on his birthday. His birthday July 15th.
Okay, so he's about to be 33. So so instead of 3 years, maybe he has 4 good years. Mm-hmm. So I mean that's a nice amount. But your team, you have Anthony Simmons,
mm-hmm.
You got Shaden Sharp, and that's really it.
And Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant is a free agent, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now is the time to go ahead and go into rebuild mode.
They need
to get as many assets as you can, and
they need to rebuild. You got Sharp and you got Simmons. Build around those 2 guys, and move. If you move,
not Ben Simmons, is it?
No. Not Dante.
He means Simons.
Simons, yeah. Not Dante boy.
That's what they should trade for.
Now that'll really be a tank. Tanking at its finest.
Yes. All right, and then to the last folks we want to talk about. 2 more.
I was just saying, send them to purgatory.
2 more teams.
Send them to purgatory.
I need
that would be an interesting trade.
Yes or no? Will the Beard be in Houston?
If I was Houston, I think Houston will be foolish to make that trade to bring him there with those younger guys, because they're the way they're playing is questionable now. And their decision making, and to bring somebody of that magnitude in with the off-court reputation he has, I don't think that would help that young team at all.
But they got Ime. Ime's supposed
and then on the court, he dominates the ball. That's not going to help the young players grow either. So I think that would be a bad move for Houston.
And I don't think Ime wants to coach. I don't think Ime wants to coach that.
No.
I think
he doesn't want to be coached. That's the thing. Despite
what we may think about the Celtics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about Jaylen Brown and and Jason Tatum and them fussing or whatever to be number 1, number 2.
It's too soon to talk about the Celtics right now.
Right, but he did emphasize. Ime did emphasize defense, and he emphasized the team philosophy. So if you got young players, and that's what you want to instill in those young players, you don't bring James Harden. You don't bring somebody making all of that kind of money who ain't gonna come in and work hard, because now he's gonna influence the rest of these cats. You know, think about the fact he wanted to get out of Houston, so he came in overweight. You know, just all that kind of stuff. Do I really want that with these new young players when I'm really bringing in a coach that I'm supposed to try to rein in these young players from all that crazy stuff that Jalen Green was doing and all of that? I want to rein that in. So the last thing I want to do is bring in James Harden. So he won't be back in Houston. I don't think he'll be that. It doesn't make any sense to bring him to Houston.
So the follow-up to that is, if not Houston for Harden, then where?
Home.
You got him out the league, D.
I mean, who else? Who else? Again, okay. This is my thing. If he's going to go to a team and he wants to come in and do the dribble at the top of the key for 23 seconds and then go to the hole and try to get try to flop and get a foul, I don't want that. If he's going to come in and be the 18 to 21 point scorer, get me 8-9 assists a game, I want that. That's what I want. I want somebody who's like, he led the league in assists. He showed you that he can come in and do that kind of thing. If he's going to come to my team and be that player, yeah, I'll take you. But if you're going to come to my team so you can average 40 points a game, shooting the ball 30 times a game, and all you want to do is hold the ball and not pass, then you can go home with that.
And then score 9 points in the playoff game.
Right. Take that over to China, take that over to one of the Israeli leagues and do that and become MVP of that league. I don't need you to do that.
We got a live tour. They got a live tour for basketball.
They need to get one.
Put him on there. But yeah, I don't. If he does not go to
live tour with a little baby,
if he does not go to Houston, I think he gonna have a problem because I don't think Philly want him back.
I don't think they really want him back either.
I don't think they really want him back.
It didn't sound like Nick Nurse wanted him.
I think they'll take him so they won't lose him, for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they really want him.
Well, put it like this: I don't think they want him back at $45 million a year.
Yeah,
he's not getting that max contract. That's just not going to happen. Unless you trade him for DeAndre Ayton, maybe they can trade him out to Phoenix
or Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons definitely come back to Philly. They'll kill him.
Hey, here's one for you. Real. Speaking of that, here's my two of this draft preview that I got for you riding real quick before I get out of here. Indiana and Utah. Speaking of where James Harden could go. Indiana has 5 picks. They got 3 in the first round, 2 in the second. Utah got 3 first round picks. Because first of all, like y'all just said, it's only 3, maybe from the top 5 players. After that, the draft is going to suck because there's a bunch of players who can go everywhere. So, like with Indiana and Utah, when you got 3 first round picks in the first round and where you're picking at and knowing that this is a weak draft, do you need all them first round picks? No. But going back to Indiana and DeAndre Ayton on the team we talked about that should have took him, Phoenix should have in there, could you see Indiana trading some of them picks to Philly, Fairhead, and we're talking about Harden or even Utah?
Well, Harden wants to go back to Houston.
See, that's going to come down to this draft. Sure you're going to see a lot of these teams that his trade notes.
Harden is not going to Indiana.
He's going. Part of the reason he's going to Houston is for the nightlife.
Does he have? Is he a free agent or is he still under contract, Dorian?
No, he's going to be a free agent.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
He's going to be a free agent, so he'll be able to choose where he wants to go.
He'll be a free agent.
Yeah, so the option he has.
Let him walk.
The option he has to make the kind of money that he wants. He got 2 options, and that's San Antonio Spurs, who got like $60 million in
go to Indiana,
and
Houston Rockets. You know what I thought about, Rod?
What's that?
Maybe the Clippers.
True.
The Clippers will have to do a sign and trade. Who they trading?
What? Oh, the Clippers got a deep team though.
Yeah, but the only one's making real money. The only one that's making real money is Paul George and
Kawhi.
So what?
I like that San Antonio. I like that San Antonio idea. I like that no idea.
Oh, Pop ain't gonna take no hard.
Oh no, he ain't gonna.
Pop will never take it. Pop,
Right.
Pop is a disciplinary, so he'll never go with that.
Yeah, dude, Westbrook is a free agent.
Yeah, see, Westbrook's a free agent, so he's coming off the books.
But see, he didn't have no money. He only signed a minimum contract with the Clippers. When they traded him to Utah, bought him out of his contract, so he signed with them for the minimum.
I'm trying to figure out the places Harden will go for that nightlife, and so LA.
Yeah, I mean, you may be able to do a Harden
Phoenix.
for D'Lo and put him with the Lakers.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility, but
Phoenix, I don't think KD want to deal with Harden.
KD don't want Harden no more.
They fell out.
He don't want Harden no more. But I do it if I'm Phoenix.
Hey, that's another. I'm glad y'all brought it up. So, would you rather if you're KD, would you rather put up with Harden or Westbrook? That's a great. I'm glad y'all brought that up.
Ooh,
Westbrook.
If you had to
Right
pick between
now?
the two players, that's basically the same position.
I would say
which one of
Westbrook.
them headaches would you take if you was Phoenix?
I would say Westbrook. Westbrook plays hard.
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Westbrook gonna play D.
And you can count on Westbrook.
Right?
I'll go to Westbrook.
Who you got,
also.
Rodney?
Again, James
You
Harden.
have to pick one of those two.
Westbrook. James Harden is like D said. Like Dorian said, if you gave me Harden and I got the 20 point 12 assist Harden, I'll take that over Westbrook.
I still wouldn't take him. He's unreliable in the playoffs.
Anything other than that, but see, I don't need him to be the Superman in the playoffs because I got Booker and I got Durant.
I
need 20 and 12
because Westbrook is going to play.
He's too ball dominant to be unreliable.
Defense. I don't have a problem with Westbrook out there and start distance, but he's going to play defense. So I would even take Westbrook over Chris Paul as another viable option to look at. That's why I posed that question to you guys. If you have to take a headache to come back to get with Durant, which of them two would you rather have?
Yeah, y'all gonna be stuck with Chris Paul, man.
He's gonna be stuck
going
with Chris
nowhere.
Paul. Yeah, he's too old. Ain't nobody.
He ain't going nowhere, and don't nobody want him. And you can't cut him. You're not gonna cut him.
They're not gonna cut him.
All right. So our last topic of discussion,
we know,
comes from the world of boxing, and we had Gervonta Davis, who just won. What was that? 2 weeks ago? What was that fight? 2 weeks ago?
About a month ago now.
Was it about a month ago? All right.
The 2 weeks.
Well, whatever case, he just won.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
And he had an incident where it was a hit and run or whatever. He injured 4 people, and the judge gave him, house arrest for 90 days.
6 weeks ago, it was April 22nd.
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. So he had all he had to do was serve 90 days at home.
Damn.
90 days at home. And it was supposed to be in the home of his trainer. But he had a tether on, and they realized
club, I'm signing off right now.
No, it wasn't strip club. But
it depends if he's getting lemon pepper wings, D.
But what he did do, D, is that he decided that his trainer's house was just too small for him, so he went and got another house. Even though he's supposed to be, his court paper said he's supposed to be in the house of his trainer. He went and got another bigger house because he said he needed more space for his security detail.
I agree. Yeah.
Right? So because they couldn't all be in the trainer's house.
His entourage.
So he went and got this other house and didn't tell nobody about it.
Right, we need sound effect right here.
I was thinking the same thing.
There you go. Oh, I think you got to stop now, huh? I want to stop it. So he basically said he thumbed his nose at the court and decided, look, I ain't telling y'all nothing. I don't care. I'm going to live at this other place. The courts found out. So what did they do? The judge was pissed. because I just had this conversation with you. I just gave you. I should have put your butt in jail from the original get-go of this case, but I gave you the benefit of the doubt because you're a boxer. You're a boxer. You know, you're coming here claiming you go do better, blah blah blah. But then you still go do what
seen the error of my ways.
Yeah, you go do what you want to do. So now the judge said, okay, since you don't want to live in that spot, come live in this one for the next 90 days.
I got an even smaller spot for you.
Come live in this one for the next 90 days. And I bet you his security detail ain't with him now. They ain't with him now.
Oh, it certainly ain't enough room in that space.
They probably still in that same spot he bought.
It ain't enough.
Just like, we got security. We have private security.
This time he bought himself a whole different big house.
We got our own private security.
Hey, look, he gonna have a roommate like Chris Tucker when he said, "Yeah, man, he gonna grab me, man." How did he grab you? He grab you like this?
No, man.
Right. He got a big house. He got the real big house. Stupid.
So it just goes to
idiot.
We talked a lot about at at the beginning when we first started our podcast about these athletes that feel entitled, that they don't have to live by the rules that are presented before them. You know, I don't have to I can drive 150 miles an hour on this freeway because the rules don't apply to me, or whatever it is, the rules don't apply to you. This guy has the same. I
can pull out my P-shoot anytime I want on Twitter.
Exactly, and y'all ain't gonna do nothing to me. So Javante Davis, welcome to your new home address for the next 90 days. And to our last subject, we actually skipped over this, but we do have to talk about this because
it falls right in line on idiots.
For the last,
same as the other idiot.
For the last few weeks, we've been talking about this boy. I just don't know what to say about him no more. So apparently, our boy Ja Morant, point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies, who a few weeks ago, for the second time, filmed himself displaying guns on Instagram. First thing we told him, get off the Instagram. Get off social media altogether. It ain't helping you, Ja. It ain't helping you. But now we find out that during the investigation by the NBA, there's even more stuff than just the two videos that we have of Ja. One with his pea shooter, another one with the in his friend's car. So the question is, what will the commish? What will Adam Silver do to Ja? D-Dub, you my resident NBA expert. What you been hearing?
Well, we all know that Adam Silver said he was going to wait till after the finals because he didn't want to diminish, anything that was going on in the finals and the accomplishments of the players that are currently playing and the teams that are currently in there. But I still think it's going to be a substantial suspension. I think it's going to be, and then with him saying that he found, that he has some new findings of some more discretions. I think it's going to be rather substantial. I think before I said initially, I said a year, but I know you guys said like 25, 30 games or whatever.
No, we all agreed on 40.
Y'all agreed on 40. I said a whole year. He needs time to get his mind right. So, you got to make him feel it.
I said I said a year.
I go with a year.
Like James Brown told Mr. Bird in the rehearsal, it's gonna cost you half a yard, Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird, that's gonna cost you half a yard. Yeah, I think it's gonna be 50. I still don't think it's gonna be the whole season.
Hey, right.
I don't think it's gonna be the whole season. I think it's gonna be more than half. So that's why I think it's gonna be 50 games, 50 to 60 games.
I want him to lay that pound down on him.
So
he lied to
on
the
the final
commission.
note,
Because Gilbert Arenas set the
going back,
precedent.
said more information came out. Yeah. So more, you said right, more information came out. You remember, guys, if you watched that Jalen Rose interview he did with Jalen Rose, and he was when he lied in an interview, one of the quotes that I still remember to this day, I can't speak about the doctors is in legal terms, but all the truth will come out. So he was already under NBA's watch anyway for other stuff that's been kind of swept under the rug, which he pointed out in an interview with Jalen Rose of all the other situations he's been involved in. So now that's what you just spoke of. Adam Silver's putting all this together. You're like, you know what? You've been a headache. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think he's going to get a year suspension.
So to me,
to learn the hard way to go back. Davis can't be going out here just running around acting like they can do what they want. Not once, not twice for this peace shooter, but he's at other situations involved with violent situations. So on that note, 1 year, Senator jail.
You and your delay, man, be killing me. But the one thing that struck me from Adam Silver's interview was when he said that the NBA, the thing that they were using had nothing to do with the legal part. So it doesn't matter that what he did was actually quote unquote legal. Mm-hmm. It's against what the NBA believes in and stands for. So because of that, he gonna hit him. He gonna hit him hard. And the thing about it, you don't. I never want another man to lose any money. You know, it's too, especially a brother. You don't want him to lose no money, man. But at a certain point, bro, you got to learn from your misdeeds. Like dude said, you know, if they just give you a little slap, a 20-game suspension, that's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, like they just did here. They just gave him a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, that's not gonna hurt you.
It's not the same thing.
It's not gonna make you stop doing what you're doing. So and then like dude said, you blatantly just said, you know, thumb your nose at the commissioner, lied right to his face.
And then even if you go back to the things that he was talking about in the interview with Jalen Rose, those things occurred before those incidents. Mm-hmm. So the fact that though you had those incidents in play when you was holding a little gun at the club and you only got an 8-game suspension, then that should have been, as Eddie Murphy said, that should have been a hit and a half for your ass. Mm-hmm. But now you done something else, and they done uncovered some other
even
stuff. Even more stuff. So again, that's why I say this. I still don't think it's gonna be a whole year. I think it's gonna be more than that 8. Obviously, more than that 8. I don't think it's gonna be for the whole year. I really think it's gonna be about 50 or 60 games. I think he's gonna give him the opportunity to come back sometime during the season. Well, again, that's just what I.
The reason I would agree with that is that at the end of the day, they know that the NBA will make more money with Ja Morant in it. Yeah, now, he needs to be punished, but the NBA makes more money with Ja Morant in it.
He should be purged. Purge me, my dear brother Moomsy.
So so here's the thing. I thought it was gonna be next week when we found out about Ja, because I thought after that first game that this series is gonna be over after 5. So it might be 6, maybe even 7. I would love to see 7, but that's just because I hate when basketball season over, because I got another 2 months to wait before football actually starts. So that's a personal little issue that I have. But we'll find out what's going on with Ja. We'll find out about NBA free agency and what's going to happen in the draft because we'll be a week closer next week. We're going to find out hopefully who the Raptors are going to select as their next head coach. I'm pretty sure we're going to find out more information about the LIV and the PGA and the DP World Tour, their merger. They'll probably to let us know what their new name is and what their direction is going to be. So those are things that we're going to look forward to in the coming weeks, days, and months. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this week. We've had a wonderful time.
I'm so glad we had this time together.
Wonderful time. So for D Almighty, for Geechee Dan, for Dooms, and for me, Rod D, if you like what we said, cool. But if you didn't,
basketball is my favorite sport.
That's the wrong button.
Who's that play?
But basketball is my favorite sport. I just wanted y'all to know that.
Month.
I just wanted y'all to know that basketball is my favorite sport.
Those guys that represent Pride Month. Oh, what's going on here, Rod?
Look at here. Look at here. Hey, dudes.
Kiss it.
Guess what? We are out.
Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. I don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Sunshine, sunshine, moonlight, moonlight, good times. Blame it on the boogie. Sunshine.